3.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined here by Thousand Eyes, and we are ready to get on the rift for tonight's match here at the Style Esports. We've got Rude Awakening, we've got William and Mary, these two teams ready to duke it out. We've got some high Emerald players, got some low Diamond players. This is definitely going to be one to take some notes on because we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of very strong League of Legends action here today. I'm so excited. Thousand, are you ready?
I am ready, and I am very excited because I have not gotten to cast either of these teams this season. So I want to see how things are going to shake out because there's a lot of intrigue right now. Meta has some mainstays, has some openings that people can try and bring up if they want to. And I'm curious to see how these teams are going to play things out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are a decent amount of shakeups here and there. I wonder if we're going to see Nefiri at all this game. Probably not. We've seen a very high win rate with that champion over the past few little bits of games here in solo queue, to say the least. So there's a lot of very, very good places that Nefiri can be. So leaving that champion open is going to be really, really tough here. Also, well, I'll have a little bit more insider information because a couple of folks who have been on the production team for Style Esports in the past are here playing for William and Mary. So we'll have a little bit of insider info here, especially with that Xerath being taken away from Merlin here, and not a whole lot of bans being directed towards Ewok on that top lane. He definitely has some pocket picks that are pretty annoying.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We are getting our bans out of the way. A couple of pocket picks taken out, the Hecarim, the GP as well, but a couple of mainstays out as well. The Xerath, the Maokai, Gragas has seen a little bit of play. Caitlyn has been a very strong AD carry, but with all of that and with the Kai'Sa nerfs that we have had a couple of patches ago, Rel is the easy pickup. She is such a good support. She is the best engaged support, and she has flexibility to take her into that jungle if you do get counter picked out.
Yeah, that is kind of one of those big developments that's kind of at least sparked my interest, at least. Just seeing that Rel pop up in the jungle here, definitely really interesting for sure. Like, she does have those strong engagements with that crash down and has that follow up with the stun magnetism as well. But Zilean is going to be the lock in here for William and Mary. Another talk about flexible position. We've seen Zilean kind of go back and forth between the support and that mid lane position as well. And Merlin does like playing these kind of very traditional mages. So perhaps that is a pick for Merlin in the mid lane, as Miss Fortune is also picked up for William and Mary.
It would make sense just from a naming perspective, right? Because if there is any champion that I would call Merlin, it would be Zilean.
Yes.
Right? We'll have to see. I mean, there is also our support player is called Mage of None, which is a very Zilean name as well. So things can bounce around. However, we can't just go off naming schemes here. But the Misfortune lock-in too is interesting because it is one that I think has a lot of power in terms of its laning capabilities. If you have an AD carry that you think is just better and capable, you can lane bully really, really hard with that full lethality Misfortune. You're losing out on the DPS later on, but if you have a strong enough lead and a better team fight, you will do really well up until that mid-game point.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I feel like Misfortune is one of those champions that is very strong, but if the meta doesn't really suit her, then she's not really going to be picked that often. You know, a lot of times, like I point out to folks, like, hey, you know, this might be like many years back when it comes to the World Championships, but or I guess not many years back, but like, you know, the World Championships, we saw a huge rise of Misfortune and then a steep fall off, right? And like, Misfortune's still very strong, right? Misfortune is not bad in the slightest. It's just sometimes, you know, the meta, there's just something just better than her, right? There's just like, that's just something is just broken, or she just needs to fit on a certain team composition.
Exactly.
But,
yeah. It's a lot of the latter, right? You have to have a team that can set up and play around her ultimate, especially when lethality is the build that is strong. You can go on hit or lethality. When you're running the lethality, it's which is what most misfortunes are running right now,
Mhm.
you have to be building a team that can set things up. And right now, I'm a little bit concerned because the Malzahar lock-in does mean our Zilean is going to the support. And there's
Yeah.
not a lot of great setup for the Misfortune. You're not
Mhm.
locking, you can lock one person into the Misfortune ultimate, but that is not what you pick a Misfortune for. You're looking
Right.
for those big AoE team fights, which aren't going to be coming through a Malzahar or Zilean stun alone. Rude Awakening, though, getting the Ezreal and the Aurelion Soul, Rude Awakening have recognized that Misfortune wants to just win early and try to snowball really hard, and said,
Yeah.
you know what, go for it. We're going to try and stay alive as long as possible and just
Mhm.
keep scaling as much as we can.
Yeah, I think the only problem I have with it is that you've now locked in two relatively squishy characters here.
Yes.
Aurelion Sol is going to get ripped to shreds by a lethality build if things go south, right? And this is going to be very something that we're going to have to keep our eyes on for sure as this game progresses, because once again, lethality really good if you get a lead, really good if the enemy is not building any sort of armor, right? You just kind of get that doubly kind of stacking of damage. I think the only thing I want to be worried about with William and Mary is that if they are going for a team comp built around Misfortune in that lethality build, they are going to be very ultimate reliant, which means it's going to be very clear cut, straightforward, very linear about how Rude Awakening is going to be able to play around them, right? As long as they are keeping track of the enemy's ultimates, they are going to be able to position themselves around neutral objectives a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they have fixed a little bit of that with the Udyr lock-in. That is just a
Right.
very skirmish-heavy champion. Obviously,
Mhm.
no real ultimate to be concerned with, so he will have that power. But I love what I see from Rude Awakening right now for, well, one, a couple of reasons. The Renekton lock-in, incredibly important. I have
Yeah.
seen so many teams just say, we're going to go full scaling, and that's bad. You don't do
Yes.
that. Stop
Correct.
doing that. You never ever really want to do that because you're just going to get thrashed in the early game and never be able to contest. You're just going to get
Yeah.
choked out by a team that has early game presence. So the Renekton lock in here basically says you either have to go toe to toe where I'm on a champion that is one of the best laning champions in the game, or
Mhm.
you have to seed pressure in one lane. So that's really important
Right.
for Rude Awakening. The Blitzcrank lock-in I also really like because it gives, again, pressure in the bot side here. Misfortune, if she sits down and tries to ult, a flash Blitzcrank R is going to stop that ultimate. A hook in the right spot can stop the ultimate. There's a lot of options to keep Misfortune on her toes, and that's never the thing that Misfortune wants to be.
Right. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, right? Like it just really Blitzcrank provides a lot of chaos to the game, right?
Mhm.
It's there's really nothing that's safe. Blitzcrank is in those tier of champions that I like to say, like, the game is now different, right? You can't play standard League of Legends anymore. Blitzcrank is in the game. That hook is very long range. You now need to ward differently. You need to position differently. You need to
Yep.
play around blind spots a lot different.
Yeah. It's very similar to how like a Zac jungle exists
Right.
and you have to
Mm-hmm.
rearrange how you're thinking, or a Kane.
Yeah.
You always have to be aware of the pick potential. And granted, like there isn't a huge worry if Blitzcrank W's in, Zillion counters with the slow and you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
The big worry is just, again, how Misfortune wants to set down and use that ultimate. It's going to be a lot harder to do. It's also just giving a level of pressure that I don't think Ezreal Rel would have had. You
Right.
know, with the move speed bonus that Misfortune can get from herself and Zillion, Rel Crashdown is very hard to play around. You're never really going to have an opportunity to hit it easily. The flip over is on the remount is a bit better, but again, you have move speed to reposition immediately. Now with the Blitzcrank, you have that hard crowd control that the move speed does not matter anymore. You just gotta hit the hook, and you can set yourself up to have two possible winning lanes.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that you have that as well, because that secondary form of engage is going to be very important, especially for making sure that Aurelion Sol can get into kind of the short range engagements as well. Because Aurelion Sol, he's not a poke champion. He's not like the Xerath that was banned away. He is very much a rather short range champion. The way he gets around that is by having the black hole, by being able to move while he's using the breath and everything. But he is rather short range, and so by having Renekton, by having Blitzcrank as well, we can basically just make up for that space by forcing the enemy to come to you.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting as we are continuing to get through our tournament draft here. As I believe here, I have actually goofed up here. So we're gonna actually send to a quick break here as we are gonna get ready for our game number one, guys. Don't go anywhere. We are gonna be right back just after this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Welcome back to that very extended break there. We are now on the Rift of game number 1 here. We got William and Mary on the red side, and we have... I've already forgotten. You know, I'm really bad at this.
Rude Awakening.
Rude Awakening. You know, it's a Rude Awakening.
Such is the Rude Awakening to remember the name.
Yeah. Ewok might be in some trouble here. Gonna have to level that Q and take that Q. Maybe they get out of here, but this level 1 is going to be successful in picking up some vision here. Yeah, they're just going to... Pizza chicken. They're just going to throw that pizza chicken. They're out of there. Here we are. Rude Awakening's on the blue side. Yeah. William Mary's on the red. Game number 1, best of 3. Style Esports. My name's Shinkari. That's Thousand Eyes. We're ready to get this game underway.
Yeah, as is tradition with the Blitzcrank, you can just kind of go wherever you want. Wokian is just kind of playing with a little bit of fire going up there. That could have been really bad, but it is not, and therefore we're getting a trade of vision, a little more vision expended from the side of William and Mary, just because they did use the Udyr for the sweet or the placement of that ward on the red buff. But at the end of the day, both junglers going to be aware where the other one is starting, because both these, well, at the very least, Rel needs to start on a buff. It's just going to be getting underway. Nothing really super notable in terms of our rune selection here. The only major thing that I'm keeping an eye on is one, the Summoner Spellbook from the Malzahar, which is not out of the ordinary, but is something of worth to note. You're losing a little bit of damage for the flexibility. And then up on the top side, we have the Garen with the Phase Rush, which against somebody as aggressive as the Renekton does make a lot of sense. You just kind of don't want to stick around him if he is fighting you.
Right. You just want to press that E, proc that Phase Rush.
Bingo. Right. Just like that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ewok, for his production skills are unmatched. As soon as we start talking, he's just there, ready to go.
Yeah, the synergy is incredible.
It is. It really is.
God, it's been so long since he used to be one of our producers for Style Esports here, so we do know a good bit about him. I'm surprised he hasn't broken out the Heimerdinger. I haven't seen the Ewok Heimerdinger in a very long time.
Based on his reaction to us talking about him, you could argue he still is producing for us. As the Ignite is going to be burned by Ewok up on the top side, and that is a little bit of presence gained, but at the expense of an Ignite. And I'm kind of surprised to see the Ignite grabbed here.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you win this consistently enough that you can take it. Like, you burn the Ignite, and now you're lower on health.
Yeah, like, maybe the argument here is that, like, just innately, like, if you're going to be in a 1v1 lane where you want to just, like, sit here and fight, oh, wait, never mind, down on the bottom lane here, that's a flash knockup on Wokian here, now stunned up, in some trouble, Rel coming in from the trouble, Wokian going real low, trying to get that first blood from Just Dab, not going to be able to do it this time as Rusher, still looking for more, going to force out the flash from Mage of None. They are going to be able to back away here. No more of that is going to happen. First blood has been spilled. It goes over to Ezreal, so big ups for Rude Awakening here.
Yeah, and a really good gank setup as well as Mr. Potate came in, just hit the crash down for that extra little bit of damage to give Ezreal the kill. So now topside's getting a little bit of gank.
Yeah, that's a silent Sam. Sir Sam Potato taken pretty low here, forcing the flash out is they're going to be their consolation prize here. No kill up into the top lane, but Udyr is going to be able to mosey their way on down, not get double scuttled. So a little bit of consolation prizes, if anything, but that first gank for Rude Awakening, definitely a lot better position for them.
Yeah. And it's kind of, it feels almost like it's a necessary thing for Ewok to get that help, right? While the gank bot side was more just like, we're going to get aggressive, the top side gank felt like, Renekton's beating me up, please help. And Renekton is just going to seemingly continue to do that. Ewok, again, having to just bop out there. I also wanted to kind of just touch on this. Picking the Malzahar into an Aurelion Soul is kind of interesting because your spell shield doesn't help a whole lot. Everything that Aurelion Soul has like a dot aspect to it that he continues. Like he either places it on the ground or he like the only thing you're blocking really is the ultimate. And that's not ideal from at least a laning perspective for Malzahar.
Yeah. I mean, I think if anything, I think we're kind of seeing the Wait, no, top lane. Ewok in some
Yeah.
trouble here, taking real low. The last spin, not going to be able to get it here. Sir Sam Potato taking Garen really, really low. Not going to be able to seal the deal on that top half of the map there. They're going to have to back away. But I was going to say, really quickly, finish my point, Merlin really showing the other power. Okay, well, you know, a crash down.
Shut up and talk about the game.
There's the hook. Yeah, we're not even going to be. What am I even bothering? That's your job to do color commentary. Mr. Potato. Down on the bottom side, we got a lot of potatoes. Look at that. We got multiple. We got multiple spuds happening.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Potatoes are a good staple food. If you disagree, you don't like
French
good food.
fries, hashed browns,
mashed potatoes,
mashed
baked potatoes. Literally, just using the word potato, you can make a lot of good foods.
Yeah,
scalloped
tots.
potatoes. Ooh. Everyone forgets scalloped potatoes. They're really good.
Yeah, they're really good. There's also that new TikTok trend of like making them like fanned out or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm too old for this.
Okay, I don't know. They like cut them in such a way that that's like a really thin slice, and then they like air fry or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like yeah. It's not like they're not like actually sliced. It's weird. I can't accurately describe it. But Dragon for the blue squad, Dragon for Rude Awakening. Go pick up the Earth Drake. The next one's going to be an Ocean Drake, so we have a lot of interesting Drakes on the table. We've got Chemtech, we got Hextech, Infernal, and Cloud as well. Can be interesting for some of these.
Would you argue any of the dragons are uninteresting?
Cloud.
Okay, well that is a possible one. So
yeah. Well, I just said we had a lot of interesting ones.
Not that they were all interesting. I got it.
Yeah, not that they're not all interesting. Just most of them are
Shikari.
interesting. Yeah. Look, it's just like you get a movement speed, I guess. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
When do I get the movement speed? When you pop your ultimate. So.
Well, you get it passively now.
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh. I have a spring in my step. I walk like I am LGBTQ.
It's gonna give that self to him, so he's immediately booking it after getting hooked by Blitzcrank down there. But yeah.
Oh, that was very satisfying. The spin up on top side is Sir Sam Potato gonna have an idea of the Garen clearing out some vision. They should also know Rel up in the vicinity here as the blue buff will be taken. And yeah, things gonna kind of slow down here. And already the fact that the scaling team is up 2-0, up not a huge amount of gold, but a chunk of gold regardless. It's a really good start, all things considered. Now, level 6s will change things a little bit because these are really impactful ultimates for the side of William and Mary.
Yeah.
Already have that Misfortune ultimate. The Garen ultimate gives a lot of trade potential here for Ewok as well.
Oh, yeah, they're already on to Just Dab down here. There's the stun. The Udyr shows up as well. There's the bullet time. Yamthany gonna be able to pick up the kill here. Rusher look fishing for some hooks there. Not gonna be able to land it this time. But 1-for-0 down in the bottom lane. That's that level 6 you were talking about.
Yeah, and Mage of None didn't even have the ultimate there. Really playing with fire, playing Zilean on hard mode without the ult, and still staying alive throughout all of that, dodging out the exhaust, really important as well, to keep Ezreal in place long enough for Yamthany to show up and lock him down in that bullet time. A little bit of a grab in the mid lane, Rusher. Don't think anything's coming to that one.
Can I really quickly, Yamthany has to be a traitor in this game, right? Like, there's 2 potatoes on the other side, and then there's just a yam on the other. Like, that's just a traitor, right? That's a sweet potato on the other side, right? Like, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that?
That's still like a potato, no?
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the point. I'm saying that they're a traitor. They're on the other team from the other potato players.
I mean, yeah, well,
you walk up the top lane, getting really close, forcing the ultimate out of Sir Sam Potato there. Actually, that's really good. Forcing a flash out as well. Ewok had to trade both of his summoners as well. Meanwhile, we got a Death Brush down this bottom lane here. Misfortune's going to be looking a little bit in trouble. Does have that flash available. Mage of None gets hooked in, though. There's the crash down. You can't go nowhere. That's going to be the Zilean ultimate pop, though. Maybe they can get out of this. But they do have the... Ooh, huge flash. Magnet Storm's going to flash the follow-up.
Oh, no.
Knocking them over. Knocked it to the air. Looking to give that kill over to Just Dab there. Going to be able to pick it up. 1-for-0 down to the bottom lane, though, but a lot had to be spent in order to grab it.
Yeah, that was a lot burned. The flash from Mr. Potato, as well as the ultimate, where they should have just really had it. The Zillion ult really helped out big time there. If Wokian had the bullet time, that fight literally changes. That becomes Wokian's double kill.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay, Rusher coming in with the hook there. Wokian forced to
Ulti?
flash the ulti from Just Stab. The delayed double kill there. MVP goes to Rusher there for getting that fadeaway hook there. Really, really good job.
Yeah, the no look, the Kobe hitting it up. Real good stuff as Rusher has been really controlling this bot lane, which is kind of what we said, right? Like, yeah, the Ezreal is a scaling pick, but the fact that they went with the Blitzcrank instead of the Rel on that bot side gave them so much more presence that they wouldn't have had. And now you have a winning top lane, a winning bot lane. Oh, that stun.
Oh, yeah, that stun was really good there. Merlin's ultimate get interrupted here, but they're going to have to stop Yamthany here because he's on something as Rusher pulls Malzahar back in. You want this fight? You got it! And Blitzcrank is going to be the one picking up that one there. Is now Age of None looking for King Nemesis here. That's going to be the exhaust. Ewok has come down from the top lane as well. They really want to blow on this turret here and make it fall over. But they are denying first brick for now. So it's like that's not going to be picked up as their skirmishes all over the map right now.
Yeah, a little over eager from Mage of None. The exhaust kind of not doing anything. You're Zillion. You got to slow in your kit. You don't need to use it for the exhaust. But still, Aurelion Sol's just going to jump away. The flash as well burn to get out very easily. And again, yeah, Mr. Potato, crazy Q timing on there. If you can queue up an ability to stop a Malzahar ult like that, it is insanely powerful. Completely changes that fight. Merlin doesn't get the kill, ends up going down thanks to Rusher again. Honestly, MVP of the game so far has been Rusher. 100% KP and has completely set up all of these kills.
Yeah, these hooks have been very good, and I wonder, you know, how much of it is just William and Mary just not being ready for these hooks, right? We take a look at some of the vision that they might have had access to at that moment there, and there wasn't a whole lot, and even so now, there's not a whole lot they can do. As Yamthany looking for Mr. Potato. We have two Spuds fighting it out, duking it out in the river here as Mage of None comes in from the side. That's going to be the stun up as they're still looking for some decent damage from the Mr. Potato here. They're going to have to back away. They have backup on the backs on their side of the jungle there. Force away the skirmish, but both teams are jockeying for position around this dragon right now.
Demonic Embrace is finished now by Yamthany, so that Udyr is going to start to hurt, and with Rel only having... where are we going, buddy?
No. Wokian. And this is exactly what I was talking about. There's not a whole lot of work coverage for William and Mary here, so they're kind of playing a little fast and loose for a game with a Blitzcrank in it. This is just one of those things where it's like, hey, Blitzcrank in game. You can't just, you know, be that far forward and hope to get a kill.
Yeah, you can't really get away with that. King Nemesis, a little scary there with the burn, but yeah, you can't just be up that far. That's kind of inexcusable. You should know better than that you just have to play under tower. It sucks. I get that. And maybe like in a solo queue game or whatever, you can get away with stuff like that. But when you're looking at this, you're like, oh, let's see if MF plays solo queue style and tries to just greed for this wave. You're able to punish that every single time.
Yeah. As once again, Rusher Law continuing their 100% KP here. Oh, we got a dance party? Yo, let's go. We love to see it. We love to see it.
Competition is fierce.
Yeah, the competition here at Style Esports is fierce. As we see Ocean Drake starts to at least be seeded here. It is picked up. It has not been seeded yet.
It's in there.
Say that. There's a stat. The stun on the Mr. Potato, but they get right in it. But the red team is going to be the one securing the Drake here. Mr. Potato taking incredibly low. The bomb is now going to trigger with the last bit of damage. They are going to secure it, and it's going to be going over to Misfortune here, but it looks like they still want to fight. They're going to try to flash away from Yamthany, who's still running at the rest of the team here. They can't.
TP stopped.
They're going to have to get away here. There comes the Make It Rain. They're still looking for more, but here comes the Skies Descend. It's going to hit the whole team. They're all incredibly low, all spread out here. Merlin does have the Bazillion ultimate, but they're going to have to wait a little bit longer for it to finally pick up the kill. Ezreal finds two in the chaos, but Justam is taking incredibly low. Woki is going to be able to find the shutdown there. It's 2 for 2. William and Mary comes out still on top thanks to that Drake, but man, that was a little messy.
Yeah, and okay, so there's a lot to break down in here for that. So the whole reason that we saw William and Mary get control of that dragon pit was the fact that Merlin already had that tower down, had shoved in Aurelian's soul, and the fact that Wokian, while yes, the death was bad, it was a reset. It was Wokian coming back from base. So everybody was on the map at the right time, at the right place to go in for that dragon and take that fight. Ewok, we're going to go in. We're going to ulti this.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
Anyway, continuing, the fight starts out. Patate gets in there, but can't get the smite off, and it's actually Wokian that gets the dragon kill. Following through on that, though, the Zillion ult, while it doesn't get the kill immediately, it's a lot of standing around and waiting for Rude Awakening, where they don't do anything. And that costs them a whole hell of a lot in that fight, because then Wokian's just free hitting.
Flash over the wall, hook, knock up. There's the Malzahar ultimate trying to return some damage here. Might be able to grab something, but they're just going to have to deal with a half HP King Nemesis at the end of that. Oh, a little bit more. Those DOTs do hurt, but they are not going to go down as you walk up in the top lane is going to be picking up that turret as well.
Important note, Rusher no longer has 100% KP. The dream is dead.
The dream is dead.
Yeah. Oh, Mr. Potato, you're level 9, buddy.
Looking for Mr. Potato. Yeah, that's 3-level difference there. Ewok is going to do some serious damage just on those base stats alone. Mr. Potato forced to jump over the wall there. As we do have the Chemtech Drake for this particular map. Is there any team you're looking at that might want to get that like soul ASAP?
Chemtech kind of sucks, so like, probably not. You just gotta take it if you want it. Both teams have champions that can utilize it. Like Rel loves it, at least from what it does. It's just like you kind of rather just have any other soul.
Yeah, meanwhile, top lane, Yamthony and Ewok looking for Sir Sam Potato here. There's the Justice coming down. Ooh, huge heal. Might be able to make him live for a little bit longer. Picking up the kill. King Nemesis still looking for Ewok here. Might have found him. There it is. Double kill for the big dragon is down in the bottom lane. Rusher Law continues his rampage on this rift as there comes Merlin looking for a little bit more. Those dots are ticking onto Aurelian Sol here, but he's going to be able to get away. You can't take the dragon down this time.
Yeah, a really unfortunate dive there. They just went a little bit too far. Just of is now just gonna get killed.
Okay. I was worried Wokian was gonna go into the river there, and I think the other team thought that too. Oh, Rusher Law, yeah, look, if you weren't going to go into the river, we're just going to make it happen for you. Crash down onto it as well. Magnet Storm.
TP?
Teleport coming in from Merlin, though. Might be able to help out the situation. Wokian pops out heal for maybe a little bit more. Might be able to get Merlin the kill here as they go down. That's going to be Blitzcrank going down here. Mr. Potato is now the next target here as they're slowed up. That's going to be the stun from Zillion, but Nemesis is over the wall as well. There's a huge slow there. I don't think they're going to be able to seal the deal. There's the dot coming down from Merlin. The bomb as well from Mage of None, but that's still not enough. It's going to be a 1-for-2 extended kind of at the bottom lane there as Ezreal just responds.
All of that happening, though.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, you stuck around.
Sometimes you just get it. Sometimes you just get it.
Yeah, I guess you do.
Yeah, sometimes it Mick be like that. Sometimes it just Mick do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Meanwhile, that whole time, Anthony drops the Rift Herald in the mid lane, gets another tower. So this whole time, WNM have been pulling a lot of gold back in their favor. They get 2 towers, 1 outer tower, 1 inner tower, and they get a couple of kills out of it, stopping some of this re-engage that they killed Wokian. But again, you get another kill out of it, and you're getting the towers at the same time. Huge stuff. Rusher, stop!
Yeah, Rusher getting in just bullying an old man.
That's an exhaust.
Yeah. Then also using
he yelled
exhaust
at you
as well. That's
so
wild.
much that he exhausted you, which a lot of old men will end up doing.
Yes, I agree. I mean, it could also just be them telling a really long
This is the one time I'm casting a game where there's an old man like listening to the broadcast that I'm offended.
Stay a while and listen. Zillion Deckard Kane confirmed.
Dragging about halfway down, and we're looking like we're gonna get a fight.
This TikTok
upgrade. Hold on. King Nemesis just got an upgrade on the ultimate, so this is the big boy ult.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty important here. We do have to... Okay, there's the Malzahar ultimate to start the fight there as we do have Sky's Descend. Holy moly! Across the whole team! You can't stop this Aurelion Sol. They're flashing over the wall. Mage of None is the only person left. Ewok comes in from what seemed like hell and is going to be securing a kill for their team here as Rude Awakening make their way back to the Chemtech Drake here. Holy...
Very genuinely, that fight completely shifted off of the fact that there was just a little bit of Stardust picked up by the Aurelion Soul just before the Dragon started. It was such a huge change. Not only hit 3 people with the ultimate and got that knock up with the upgrade, but on top of that, got the extra burn across multiple people with that Leandry's finished. They are going to get that second Dragon. A massive win to shift the tides again. This game's still very close.
Yeah, don't let that gold lead deceive you at this stage, right? Like, this is still just a lot of team fights, even though they're behind, have been won by Rude Awakening here. It just seems like macro play just seems to be a little bit more consistent on, or just a little bit better on William and Mary here. They've been able to take a lot of towers. They've been able to secure some good first times at objective points. It's just that, like, man, that Aurelion Sol just hurts so much, and it's crazy to think that because Merlin kept him under tower for what seemed like the whole early game.
Yeah, that's kind of just the Aurelion Sol way. Well, okay, well, Mr. Potato's a little sad about that one, but Burn took that jungle camp away. But it's such a huge, like, shift. As soon as Aurelion Sol starts to hit that scaling, there's no option. It goes from being like, okay, this little wimpy dragon boy is kind of slapping me around with his tiny little laser that he's got, and then all of a sudden, like, oh that hurts, and now my team has to deal with that, and it's just going to continue to get worse and worse. The abilities are going to get larger with that ult knee. The damage is going to keep going higher and higher, and eventually you're dealing with the mobility of an Ezreal, the power of an Aurelion Sol, and now they're going to start a team fight up here.
Yeah, Magnus Storm is going to come in. Wokian is going to be able to get away finally, and they're going to retreat underneath
really
the turret here.
aggressive.
Bullet time from safety here is not going to be able to get a whole lot of damage done, but definitely enough to make some space for their team. Shirelia's is popped by Zilean there. They're going to be able to get a 1-for-1 trade here, but they're looking for a little bit more. That hook was good, but the res from Zilean is better. Merlin's going to be able to come out from that A-OK, but he's still searching for something because Ewok is on the backside here. He's real strong. He's got that Rift Maker. He's got that Hull Breaker. He's running for his damn life now as he tries to turn it around, at least get something here, because Sir Sam Potato is definitely taking a whole lot of damage. Merlin waiting on the outside of Vision here, trying to just throw down some dots as this team is just re-engaging and re-engaging over and over again. Ewok is so fast. He's going in. He gets hook knocked into the air, and finally the Garen is taken down.
Yeah, and these fights just have not been great for Sir Sam Potato, and that's partially just due to how William and Mary have been playing them. The thing about Renekton in team fights is you need to be like in the middle of a lot of people, and that just hasn't been the case. Partially because you have the Garen flanking so much, partially because you have a Zilean who can speed people up and get them out of a bad situation. It just has not worked out super well, and the fact that also the laning phase didn't really get a huge advantage. This Renekton pick is starting to hit its weak points really heavily.
Yeah, and it's not really at a stage where the Renekton can just like, hey, I might not be doing damage, but at least I'm a big old meatball that can stand in front of Ezreal, right? Like, the most amount of HP, we've got right now on that Renekton is that Gore Drinker, and that's about it. Right? Like, there's no big items yet. Everyone else has 1 to 2 items completed, and Renekton is sitting here 1.5, right? Like, this is kind of a big deal at this stage of the game because that Renekton just can't effectively be a tank. As now King Nemesis in some trouble at the top lane. That's going to be the big meteor coming down, but Sir Sam Potato is going to be coming in, but a little too late as Sir Sned now. He's going to try to get out of this, but he's already used the slice and dice. You don't know how he's going to get over the wall here. Ewok trying to go, taken really low there, but this might be the rest of the fight because Ezreal is here. The whole team might look to get Baron off of this if not done correctly here. You do have to be careful. Merlin still in the bottom lane here, does not have that teleport available. I think they're just delaying, trying to get some time for Merlin to split push down to the bottom half of the map.
Yeah, they still have a Zilean ultimate here too, so a grab from the Blitzcrank is not going to be super bad.
Okay, they tried to crash down over the wall, but it wasn't successful, so that's the Hex Splash of the wall here as Rusher is chased down by Ewok and Yanthony. It's going to be successful, but Mage of None is taken so incredibly low. They're going to be able to get that successful split push as now Yanthony looking for Mr. Potate here, but your Aurelion Sol is coming in from the side here, so they do have to be careful. Ewok is on top of Ezreal here, but they're doing a good job of kiting around. He's finally just leaving this fight. It's like, yeah, guys, I'm out of here. I got nothing else. Misfortune going to be hit by that Zillion ultimate, but we're starting to see a bit of the weakness as now the enemy team does get enough time to wrap around and just finish that kill off of themselves as Merlin is claiming the prize he's been trying to do this whole time. There's a little bit more damage onto that as Ewok, holy moly, on a King Nemesis. The stars descend. Going to be able to find the Zillion, but Ewok is going to be able to find King Nemesis. Holy. The fight never stops.
It's all over the place here. There's too much to break down at that. I'm not even gonna bother. But like the crazy fights all over the place. And meanwhile, yeah, Merlin pushing on that bot side, almost cracking the inhibitor tower. And now with all the deaths though, it means that it's a third dragon going over to Rude Awakening. So they're gonna be able to get onto Soul Point now very easily, thanks to how delayed that fight was and how easily they won it with the death timers coming back up.
Yeah, I mean, when you have those kind of insanely staggered team fights, sometimes like and the goal wasn't to get Baron, right? The goal wasn't at that moment to get Baron. The goal was to distract them long enough so that Merlin could try to break open the inhibitor turret on the bottom half of the map there, right? But you know, when you get to those kinds of very long extended fights, sometimes the team with the better respawn timers or even the team that dies first comes out on top because, hey, you know, the fight ended with like a 2-for-2, but our one that died earlier is respawning, so now we get priority on the objective.
Yeah. So now respawns all completed. We're all back on the board. Everything is good to go. And yeah, you're gonna look at this and you're gonna say, all right, well, they're down 2k gold, so they're definitely still losing, right? You would be incorrect. This Aurelion Soul is goofy strong. 2k means nothing in terms of the power that Aurelion Soul has amassed for himself, and a lot of this gold is on the important member, the Ezreal. That is the one that has to really raise himself up by purchasing items versus the Aurelion Soul, who can just farm up and get a lot from there. So now Ewok might actually be able to fight this.
Yeah, he flashed and then, popped the ultimate a little early, but Ewok is still going to be able to get that as meanwhile in the top lane here. This is a lot of AoE damage from Yanthony here. These HP bars are descending faster than they can heal them back up. Serpentino, huge heal from him there. Looking to try to get onto Merlin here, but that's a huge stun right there. He's still healing so much, but Yanthony is going to be able to seal the deal as Mr. Potate trying to turn around onto Merlin. They're not going to be successful, and that was really, really good for William and Mary.
William and Mary, they kill the Aurelion Soul trying to hold off the split push, and they win the team fight on the top side. You know what that means. That means you get Baron for free, and you stifle out the scaling that has been occurring. It has been reaching a peak that is incredibly scary to go up against. Now, you've opened that lead a little bit again, and again, you still have these really powerful team fight capabilities. You have the Misfortune, who has the Cyrilda's Grudge now, which is going to add a slow to that ultimate as well, which means it's that much harder to get out of. A Udyr, who is going to be slowing you with that R throughout the entire team. Things are starting to at least hit a point where there are win conditions for William and Mary. The problem being, I would argue the win conditions for the side of Rude Awakening are a lot easier to utilize. You just keep scaling on the Aurelion Soul. You have the Dragon Soul to go for. There's so many options for Rude Awakening that I think they have the real, like, they are in position to win this game. They've just got to make sure that they're not making that same mistake where King Nemesis just gets caught out stopping a Garen way away from the tower.
Yeah, and it really has to come down how King Nemesis is going to be playing these last few minutes here, I'll say, because, you know, we're getting down to the wire. We're getting really close to the point where respawn timers are getting really long. These champions are insanely powerful, right? Like, once it comes to this stage of the game, right, like, it really is important for King Nemesis, who is the win condition of this team now, right? The mid game
Yeah.
was supposed to be carried by Just Dav, and now we're here. King Nemesis is gigantic. He's got 3 items. He's done so much damage. He's scaling up. He's going to have that, believe he has the skies to send.
Oh, well, no, not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore, indeed. This might be the go button for the mid lane here. Look at Mr. Potate's HP bar. Holy.
So this is where this Renekton pick is starting to show its pain points. Because ideally, you want your top laner to be going up against the Garen. You want to have Aurelion Sol there for your team fights. But they can't. Because the Renekton's not going to stop Garen. Garen's going to run all over that. And they have to send Aurelion Sol for it. But then they don't have Aurelion Sol for the fight, and Aurelion Sol's going to get run down by Garen if he makes the wrong move.
Yeah, that's also it too. You know, I mentioned earlier, Aurelion Sol is very mobile, but very short range. Is now Rel looking for an engagement here, but the Merlin and Wokian have both. Oh no, I think they've both perished.
Oh
as
no.
now Yanthony and Mage of None have to 1v2v3 here. Ewok is still in that top lane there, but that is 2 gigantic members of William and Mary just gone.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate, and that's going to stifle the push here, I would assume. Now, they can still have Garen push here. Anthony is really deep in. I don't know if you want this.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's found Ezreal, but the rest of the team have found them here, and that's going to be Zillion going down. It turns out you can't kill him.
No.
Zillion.
Ewok not
Ewok. I think Ewok's fine.
Ewok's okay against this Renekton. Okay, they're going for the dragon. They're going for the soul.
They're going for dragon. Ewok's
if they had actually turned over and gone over to that top side, that would have been a kill at Ewok as well. And I think you could still get the soul at that point. Ewok now just gonna go in on Rusher and maybe try to continue this push.
Look, Ewok is a person who plays this game a whole lot. I don't think they've played this specific season a whole lot, but they played this game a lot. And this is exactly the type of champions that they play, right?
I don't play League of Legends as a team game. I play it because it makes me feel good beating the crap out of somebody.
Yeah, I recently got into a discussion with folks. It's like some top laners just play the top lane like it's a fighting game, and you just can't, right? But, you know, once you build Hullbreaker, it's no longer a fighting game anymore. You're playing Minecraft. Sometimes a creeper shows up and he's like, I'm going to stop you.
Is top lane just for all the people with ADHD? Like,
I don't know about that.
I say this
like
as somebody
jungle.
with ADHD. Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't
then
know.
Again, video games typically draw in all bits of ADHD. So
yeah, I was also gonna ask, like, are we gonna lose a lot of top laners when Project L finally gets out? Like, is that what I'm hearing?
Probably.
Like,
I mean,
you know what?
Like,
if I'm losing that kind of top laner in my games, I'm totally okay with that.
Look, I just watched a game today played by some friends who, like, their top they're playing like a 3-stack, a random top laner. They lock in Fiora into Jax. They lose first blood to the Jax and then DC the game. Like
as one does.
You can't make that up. Like,
yeah, no, I have that too.
That is the fighting game matchup right there. Yeah, it's like Fiora versus Jax, and then whoever loses first is just there. The lane is just going to be awful.
I want to take a second here to just point out how big the E is on Aurelion Sol right now. Because if you remember where it was at in the earlier portion of the game, huge difference now. The Phase Rush also fulfilling a different purpose now right now. Here comes the ulti.
Yeah, oh my god, she's just gone. Miss Fortune was there one moment, gone the next. Mr. Potato taking some return damage here from Yanthony, but they are just trying to mitigate some damage as Garen continues to push in the bottom lane here. But yeah, Ewok's down in the bottom lane, and this team cannot handle it because look at how many super minions are going into the base. They're just backing. And now they might be able to actually fight this if they want to keep going. But, is Garen going to... No, okay, he's going for red buff. But yeah, dang. I think that's probably the best case scenario, right? You go 1-for-1 mid lane, you grab the inhibitor bot, and you force their best player to go back and stop the push from your super minions. That's got to be really good for William and Mary at this stage.
Yeah, the fact that they can't make anything happen off of Wokia going down, and they use the Big Sky's Descent, right? That's going to take some time to build back up. Obviously, it gets a little bit easier the longer it goes. Already about halfway built back up. But it you can't realistically make sure you're going to have it every single ultimate, and that's a little scary because now you can't pull that same level of play off again, and you didn't get anything off of it, and the Baron's starting up, so you're not going to have it if you try to fight this Baron.
Yeah, and now this is, once again, this is a really important time. That's Ezreal ultimate coming across, but blue team is not in position to contest this, and this is just going to be a free Baron to the team with 2 of your inhibitors down.
And
right? Like, they got 2 lanes of super
push.
minions. Yeah. Garen, we know exactly where Garen is going. Put that free, check off that free space on your bingo card, right? Like,
yeah, it's not looking great. William and Mary, granted, like the fact that they've been able to navigate this late game has been really, really impressive. Mr. Potato looking to go in.
oh, immediately pop of the Shirelia's battle song here as Ewok is joining the team. You can take that space, you can take that bingo piece off your bingo board now because it's no longer on the free space. As Rusher, once again, looking for the hook, but Ewok and Anthony doing a good job of body blocking, but they found Merlin. Crashdown comes in, he's half HP, he's taken real low. That's going to be
don't have Nemesis.
Popped it. That's going to be popped as well as Ewok onto the backside here. Look at that damage, diving directly onto King Nemesis. The whole team needs to turn around and defend the dragon, and that might be the play that they need in order to turn this team fight around, but the inhibitor goes down, and William and Mary are trying to get out of here. Hook, ooh, nearly lands on a Merlin, and they are out of there.
Rude Awakening, they take every single dragon, and they keep their own dragons alive as well. So they are doing their job. They are doing exactly what they needed, and the fact that King Nemesis is able to stay alive, now granted, that's through Seraph's Embrace, that's through everything there, just barely keeping King Nemesis alive. With Garen down now, oh, this could be a big one.
Yeah, this is interesting to see the least. Merlin goes down there as they're trying to find the kill on Ezreal. They're not able to find it. Now Mage of None is in a whole lot of trouble. And this is really bad for William and Mary here. They have now staggered their deaths super hard. And now Wokian's trying to do his best Ewok impression. He's just, I'm sorry, it just doesn't work the same way. You're not him.
Yeah, it does not happen. Anthony gone.
All right. Keep the death timers around the same time.
I'm a little worried now.
Yeah?
Because everything that William and Mary were doing that I just praised them on, they kind of just stopped doing.
Yeah.
The whole big thing that they were doing was just allowing the Garen to split very far away and forcing a response here. And when they did get responded on the other side, it was with some level of, like, at the very least, Ewok got something out of it. Now,
right,
they're grouping with Garen because they're saying, all right, well, we're winning fights. We could just end this game. And that's just not going to ever be how it is, right? Like, if you're 5v5ing, you're not going to win it. You have to continue to allow Ewok to do his thing on the side. Getting another engage here.
Yeah, might be able to find King Nemesis one more time, but there's the Sky's Descent. Ooh. They're going to be able to find the kill onto the big dragon here, but they've already lost Merlin here. That's going to be the big shield coming down from Ewok here as they pick up the Elder Dragon, and there's the execute as well. And now Mage of None is in some trouble here as Just Dab throws out the ultimate. Jukes, jives, ducks, dives, and weaves away. Not going to be able to find the kill this time, but once again, we're in another position where William and Mary are getting these death timers really staggered, right? We're looking at a 10-second difference between Merlin and Ewok, and they're dead for 30, 40 seconds. So if these super minions were not spawning, you know, this would be a much different situation in this game right now.
Yeah, things... Honestly, it's so back and forth. This game feels like it is just on a knife's edge. Every time inhibitors just go down, we see the split push work, and it just barely gets stopped in time. I'm surprised we have not seen any Nexus towers fall as of yet, because the split push has been that prevalent. But now, even with that Elder Dragon, it's like, okay, we haven't been able to do anything. Every time we're winning fights, we're not doing anything with it. And yeah, it's getting a little bit easier to win these fights. We can actually win 5v5s now. We're actually strong enough where we're just unbeatable in a group setting. But you're not always getting it, and it feels like you're just kind of responding to William and Mary every single time.
Yeah, and they're really going to have to go into this driver's seat here. They only have this Elder Drake buff for just a little bit longer here, right? Let me double check to see, because yeah, it's nearly done here. We're looking at like 40% of it left, right? And they
Mhm.
have yet to really do anything meaningful with this buff here. Now,
They stopped
granted,
a push.
yeah, they
Like,
stopped the push, but that was about it. If anything, they were able to definitely kill Ewok. Like that was the big thing there. But you know, this is kind of big for William and Mary here. Hey, they got the Elder Drake. So what, right? We have Baron spawning in a minute. We might be able to close out this game. They just need to be a little bit more disciplined about picking what to do once, like, the team fight is over. So once the team fight's over, they just kind of linger around, and that is going to cause them to die a lot of times.
yeah. Also, check in with the Aurelion Soul. 512 stacks now.
Mm-hmm.
That is a
Yep.
sizable amount.
Yes.
So
Correct.
I only mentioned that to continue my point of Aurelion Soul is going to dumpster people, as especially if he has that ultimate, which he is building towards. He's going down to the bot side for Ewok.
Yeah, Ewok is gonna get stunned up here,
Baron's up in
still
20
looking to get away.
seconds.
Yeah, Garen is also very fast and full build. Um, as the rest of the team looking to fight onto Mr. Potate here. To be able to find it, but there's the big
Merlin?
ring hold. There is going to be the ultimate immediately interrupted, but Wokian is going to be able to find the kill right there. They're still looking for Wokian here, taken incredibly low, but that's going to be the Zillion pop, but not going to be used as of yet, as Just Have is going to be legendary, taking down Merlin, but that's going to be Udyr
Oh,
picking the kill on Ezreal
no.
there. Now they're looking for more, and then Nemesis is going to go down, and Sir Sam Potato is the last member of this team. Triple kill for Wokian here. The Garen ultimate comes down. Can they keep getting it? They're still looking for Wokian, not going to be able to find it. It's the quadra kill for Misfortune, and finally, 41 and a half minutes. It's been a slobber knocker of a game. We're going into game 2 after 41-47. Holy moly, what a game.
There was so much that happened there.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole. Yeah. I am just kind of blown away by how back and forth that game was. Because it started off with the power moves in the early game from Rude Awakening, who had the Aurelion Soul, had the Ezreal. We're like, all right, cool. Scaling team is ahead early. Easy win. But then Ewok just kind of kept doing his thing. And once that Hull Breaker got locked in, there was no stopping the Garen. And every time they tried to send somebody back, it just didn't work out for one reason or another. And Ewok single-handedly, the pressure from Ewok opened up 4v4 opportunities that could work out for William and Mary's favor. They were able to set up opportunities where they're like, all right, we got to do something while Garen is fighting, so let's engage. Okay, Wokian just ults from under tower, and the MF ult shreds everybody. They had really good flanks where Garen was able to move around and show up for a fight that was really influential. William and Mary just kind of out macroed, and it didn't work every time, and there's things to learn from that, but they definitely were the ones always making the decisions in this game.
Right. Yeah, and it definitely, I agree with you, because my big note was very similar. Like, William and Mary felt like the ones actually making decisions in this game, and it just felt like Rude Awakening was just kind of responding to what was happening. It's like,
Mhm.
hey, they've messed up and now they're all dead. Let's go do Dragon.
Yeah.
Like, it never felt like they were truly in the driver's seat, even though for a lot of these team fights, they were very much ahead. They were very much more powerful than William and Mary, and that Aurelion Sol was indicative of that, right? And it never felt like they truly used a lot of the mid game power of that Ezreal either, right? And so,
Yeah.
if anything, moving into game 2, I'm looking for excuse me, Rude Awakening to just have a little bit more hold of the driver's seat here and not really just kind of play off of the mistakes of William and Mary, because it did give them some victories, but is that going to win you the game?
Yeah. I mean, the big thing was that every time Rude Awakening won a fight, it was all right. Let's go visit Garen.
Right.
Okay, we
Yeah.
killed Garen. They took Baron.
Mhm.
Like there was just never an opportunity to get any real ground, and I feel like that's something that's got to change up. Early game was great. They felt awesome, like they were in control, and obviously Rusher killing it with the Blitzcrank.
Yeah.
They just didn't seem to have real solid engage potential later on. Mr. Potatoes Rel did not hit a really amazing engage on a team fight. Rusher started losing opportunities because they started playing a little bit more safe. I want to see if they can recognize that they maybe needed to find better opportunities, set up picks better, and change that up, or maybe just change the composition up.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely a really good first game here. A little bit of a longer one, but we enjoy seeing some more League of Legends. And speaking of more League of Legends, we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of Rude Awakening versus William and Mary. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shingari. I'm joined by 1,000 Eyes, and here we are in Picks and Bans, game number 2. Rude Awakening versus William and Mary. Now, if you're joining us for the first time, William and Mary just won game number 1 after 42 long minutes. Here we are going into game number 2 here. So long, so far. A lot of similar bans, except for that taking that Aurelian Sol off the table for Rude Awakening here by William and Mary. It's going to be a pretty good reactionary ban here as Jax.
Yeah.
Going to be the last ban here for Rude Awakening Phase 1.
Yeah. Well, one, surprising to see the Jax taken out, because that wasn't banned by Rude Awakening in game number 1, which gives me the impression that they don't want to pick the Renekton again because it didn't really work out. But they also don't want to allow a Jax to get some positive lading. So right. William and Mary, the dragon ban makes a lot of sense. William and Mary seemed a little bit phobic of the dragons. We're not able to get in on any of those outside of the one that they got. So makes sense to see that one. The Gangplank does get through, though. That was the swap for the ban for William and Mary. So GP will be insta-locked in for Sir Sam Potato. And that is going to be a really solid lane up on that top side that Ewok's going to have to know how to play around.
Yeah, I trust that he has had experience against Gangplank. Oh, no. Oh, no.
No, I don't want to cast this.
Yeah, Resident
Please.
Sleeper. Let's go. It's nap time, baby.
It's not even nap time. It's just like I'm not watching League of Legends anymore. Like, it's like we talked about like casting a Minecraft or a fighting game. This is like casting an idle game. Yeah. It doesn't really work, and it's also just not what you want to be doing with your life, but it is kind of where you're at.
Yeah. Gangplank is the pickup here. Sir Sam Potato, this is their most played champion for the 2023 season here, so definitely going to be an interesting pick to see them on their not their one trick, but their most played champion. So sure to be some good play up in that top lane. But once again, Ewok loves the meatballs. Dr. Mundo, Gragas. You played, we saw him play Garen last game. He's played the Mordekaiser before. This is his bread and butter right here. This is going to be certainly a good matchup in the top lane of two skilled players. Is it going to be the most exciting one because Sion is involved? Probably not. Is it going to be really cool to at least see two players play it all out their best at the top lane? Of course.
Yeah, we do see the lock-in of the Swain here, which is going to be our mid lane pickup. Almost assuredly, King Nemesis has been playing that in solo queue. And it also is just a good kind of stabilizer in a lot of matchups.
Also matches the name.
Yeah, also does match the name.
Yeah, that's some lore points.
Yeah. I don't know if lore points really get you much.
Yeah, no. You can redeem it for a wing ding.
Yeah.
A little gadget,
now, The thing you got to watch out for, though, is that against Xerath, it's not a fun time.
Yeah,
right?
It's
not fun. It's usually a lane stabilizer. Swain into Xerath is almost definitively not one because it is the long range that Swain does not care for. And at the very least, Rude Awakening are going to pick up that Kai'Sa this time around. The Ezreal was available. They decided not to go for it. They locked in the Kai'Sa instead. And William and Mary with, I think, the smart pivot here to take the Nautilus and immediately make sure that it is not going to be available for Kai'Sa. That is the standard staple support pick to go alongside of a Kai'Sa. So they want to make sure that doesn't get over. They also ban away the Rel. Now, again, this is a double ban here. You're taking it away from the jungle. You're also taking it away from support, which Rude Awakening have not picked either.
Yeah. It definitely is. It definitely is interesting to see that that Kai'Sa locked in. I did see a bit of the why am I brain farting? Of the Brazilian broadcast of Kai'Sa just having some big success down in Brazil down there. So definitely interesting to see Kai'Sa come back and have Kai'Sa just be a really strong champion. Really, really good how flexible she is. There's a lot of different build paths and stuff. So I'll be interested to see how they're going to be playing it this time. So we finally get the last bit of bans here. Misfortune being taken away from Wokian here, and Karthus being taken away as well. But Jarvan and Rel being taken away from Rude Awakening here.
Yeah, the Karthus ban, specifically a ban for that bot lane pick. If you have not been watching League of Legends or anything of the sort in the last couple of weeks, Karthus has seen a lot of rise in priority as a bot laner. A lot of AP bot laners have become strong. Karthus, Ziggs, and Seraphine, who is also in that list, will be locked in here now. The thing that worries the hell out of me with this, where is your damage?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see as we get Zach and Braum locked in for Rude Awakening. This is a really tanky team, and yeah.
Where is your damage?
Yeah. So Trundle is really good into this team. It's hovered. I think they should lock it in because Trundle is good in two scenarios. Trundle is good against characters who are either very tanky or who have no dashes, blinks, jumps, any of those abilities that get you from point A to point B, right? Even high movement speed is not going to save you from Trundle, right? Zach might be able to get away. Braum might be able to get away. So we'll call those halves. We'll call those two halves and then three whole champions who are just stuffed by the Trundle pillar, right? Like Trundle, I think Trundle can survive Swain Ultimate if they decide to, like, if there's a weird 1v1, I don't know, right? There probably is a world.
So like I agree with you. Trundle is very good into like pretty much all of these champions. I don't like it with this composition. What I ideally, in a perfect world, assuming all champions could be played,
yes,
I would have loved to see a Kindred.
Interesting.
I think having the AD carry, you have a Seraphine who's gonna farm up, have a bit of damage, but also have that supportive factor. You have the tank, you have the poke. What you need is that consistent damage. Who like Trundle will steal tank stats from Zach. Who is still killing Zach? Who is still killing Swain through his ult?
But it's still Trundle, right? Because Trundle is still like that consistent damage outsource, right? Regardless of like, yeah, he can't. I don't know if he can get kited as easily as other champions. The Troll Pillar and also his little domain is enough movement speed and slow and stops that he can be able to do that kind of thing too.
Okay,
I think there's enough CC to compensate for the fact that Trundle is melee in order to give him the opportunities he needs to provide that consistent damage outsource, right? Because we got Nautilus and Scion as well, right? Like that's a lot of CC.
I'm gonna make a prediction on a fight that I think is gonna happen here.
Okay.
I think what's gonna happen is William and Mary's gonna go for a fight, and they're gonna try and start it out with maybe a Nautilus ult onto Kai'Sa. And Seraphine tries to follow with the ultimate. Gets blocked by Braum. Trundle tries to go in. Zach ulting through that. Just stopping Trundle in his tracks. Able to then maybe Elastic Slingshot as well. You have Swain who's going to have the Rylai's. On top of that, there's so much to get through to try and reach this Kai'Sa if she's playing correctly and the Braum is in position. That that is exactly how I see a team fight happening, and I don't know how you ever get to this Kai'Sa unless you poke her out with a Xerath beforehand. But then there's still a lot of other really tanky members that can provide a lot of protection to keep Trundle from doing a whole lot.
Right. I think we're mostly just disagreeing here. We can just move on. I think there's enough CC from this team that Trundle can get over that kind of hump that he needs in order to be able to stick to some of these targets. I don't think it's too far-fetched to believe that Trundle can stick to some of these targets here and live to tell the tale, right? I think he'll get the most amount of trouble from Swain, but we can move on. We can talk about something else here. We talked about the top lane matchup. We talked about the mid lane matchup. Let's talk about Kai'Sa Braum versus Seraphine Nautilus, because we do have a mage in the bottom lane here, which means that these early trades might be a bit of a problem for Seraphine Nautilus. What do you think?
I don't know, because I think honestly the clear from Seraphine is enough that Kai'Sa's not going to have a fun time in that
Right.
lane. Your early clear is not great. We'll see which version of Kai'Sa we're going to be getting with the AP nerfs. We've seen a lot more of the AD Kai'Sa. But most importantly, early on, Kai'Sa's just not going to be able to do a whole lot. Seraphine's going to stay out of range, not a fear in the slightest. Braum cannot force an engage. And then Nautilus is just always a worry. So Braum has to keep in between the Nautilus and the Kai'Sa to make sure that she does not get hooked. Once you hit level 6, things change slightly. There is the possibility for an engage from the Nautilus Seraphine if they poke down enough, but the fact that Braum has that shield is always going to be a deterrent for that.
Right. And I think it is going to be like the biggest pain in William and Mary's whole team composition, right? Because you said in your hypothetical team fight, right? Braum just throws down shield and then Seraphine's ultimate is completely eliminated, right?
Yep.
And that is going to be the biggest problem for this team, going forward. It's going to be just a big old problem.
Yeah. It's my biggest fear here, and I'm also just kind of like, okay, so Xerath and Seraphine both realistically can go Leandries, right? Which is great against Swain, against Zac, even Gangplank and Braum to an extent, because they are going to get some HP items. It's just a question of like, they also have a lot of healing as well. So now, okay, we've also got to itemize it. Like your build is being railroaded very heavily because Zac and Swain are going to out heal you, and until both those items are built, I don't know how possible you're going to be able to burn through those champions. Now, there's a world in which the Xerath Seraphine poke becomes really
Mm-hmm.
influential and just makes it so that that team fight never has to happen, and maybe you can then engage off of those low health bars. That's got to be the play, especially early on, because Swain's going to pop ult, Zac is going to pop ult and stay alive through a whole hell of a lot, and William and Mary, they've just got to hit those item break points, I think, to have a chance in actual skirmishes.
Right. And it is going to be a big problem too, just because like moving forward, this even if you block Seraphine ultimate, I still feel like there's so much CC on this team too that like just having that one shield is not going to be enough to really stop a lot of what they're going to try to do here. Not to mention that like if they want to poke, they really just can do that, right? Like they've got a decent line of scrimmage here for Seraphine and Xerath to just kind of hang out. You know, throw around abilities if they want. So that's definitely something we're going to have to look for as this game it gets underway. We're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of game number 2 of Rude Awakening versus William and Mary. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shingari. I'm joined by Thousand Eyes, and here we are on the Rift of game number 2. We've got William and Mary on the red side. We've got Rude Awakening on the blue. We've got a bit of a level 1 money here for the red team here with the Nautilus. Is going to be very strong. Find out that ward and immediately walk backwards here. Not going to look to go into that bush anymore here, but ooh, wait a minute. Okay. Got a bit of a death brush here. Working their way around. Going into the blue buff.
Yeah, just looking for what they can. Nautilus doing what he does.
Oh, they're actually going to fight this out? Uh-oh. They've gotten clawed. They've gotten pulled. Mr. Potate, Tuesday, and King Nemesis are here.
14 health.
Some poke damage.
Oh.
28
health.
Oh.
If we see a point where King Nemesis survives on anywhere near 30 health, like it influential.
Yeah, holy moly. So yeah, that's our level 1. Welcome into the game, everybody. We're gonna get some pretty standard starts here. No leashes for Trundle on this top half of the map. Going to start on that red side. So we're going to see 2 junglers pathing their way towards the bottom half of the map. So we'll see probably an explosive gank for that first blood relatively soon.
Yeah, as here starts the poke here. The King Nemesis, again, as we kind of said in the draft, not going to have the greatest time. Big hooks are going to actually be really important. Not from the standpoint of trying to get a kill, but just trying to keep yourself healthy. King Nemesis can hit those grabs, follow it up with the W. You get a little bit of extra healing and the extra bonus health. So King Nemesis really, really wants to make sure he's hitting that. Level 2, going to start up here.
Yeah, just getting a little bit more here. Yeah, it really is going to be a bit of a, I don't know, I just feel like there's going to be a point where Merlin's just going to run out of mana here. It's really going to have to come down to like getting these Doran rings procs, getting these biscuits right. Really going to have to stay high in this mana as Wokian shows up in the top lane here. Sir Sam Potato in a bit of trouble here. There's the pillar, there's the knockup, there's the heal from the oranges, and he's okay.
A really solid gank though, and it is that level 3 gank. Now, granted, Trundle did not take anything on that bot side, so that is going to be at least a sign here that Mr. Potate has the opportunity to play really heavily on that bottom side now. Can look for a gank. The early damage from Kaisa passive is still really solid. You just need that engage potential, and with that, we're going to actually see Mr. Potate go for the invade. I don't think this is the ideal situation. Your mid is shoved in and very unhealthy. Your bot lane is shoved in. You can't fight this.
Yeah, he's also forced to flash. Not ideal in some of these early levels, but it looks like he's going to elastic slingshot over the Mr. Potate. He's going to try to use that zone. He's going to try to use the blast cone, but he's going to pop that passive before it's too late. Code. Yep, there's one more. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4. First blood for Wokian on the Trundle.
I was sitting there like, you need to pop the blast code to make sure that Mr. Potate doesn't just pop up and get over there, but was able to take him down in time. And yeah, I really unfortunate decision making there, as we might see a little.
Well, yeah, there's the hook. They're still looking for a little bit more here. The snare was already used. They're gonna use it on the Tuesday here, but yeah, Trundle can't quite find an opening here.
Again, like when you're invading like that, you've got to keep an eye on your lanes. King Nemesis not healthy in the slightest. Your bot lane has been shoved in, as is expected here when you're against that Seraphine and you're up against a hook champion as Kaisa. You're never going to be able to push that out. And you can't invade on that. You've got to go for the gank in that situation, and Mr. Potate paid the price.
Yeah, now Mage of None might be playing the price as well. They're slow. They're taking real low. Forced to flash. Can use that hook to go right back to the wall as well. They have been saved by the skin of their teeth, but now with that Hex Flash available for maybe some tricky plays, but that flash being down means that Mage of None is going to be in a little bit of a tricky situation come by the time they come back.
Yeah, good escape. Solid stuff. Gank now.
Yeah, good stun on the King Nemesis here. They're going to be coming in Mr. Potato on the other side of the Trundle pillar. Still looking for something, but they're just going to poke them away. Going to neutralize this gank here. Both mid laners going to make their way back.
Wokian has been on top of these counter ganks.
Yeah.
Really, really good to just keep control. Also, Ewok's up 2 levels on this top side.
Yeah.
That's scary. That is the win con. That is what is really, really difficult to deal with.
Scion gameplay. That's Scion gameplay. Sir Sam Potato up in the top lane here, forced to flash to the other side of the queue. That did not go in the correct direction. Wokian underneath the turret going to be able to secure it up, but the turret is going to be the one finishing the kill here. Xerath ultimate does not land on the King Nemesis. We are throwing a lot of spells in a lot of directions.
There's no way.
He's still going it. No, my God, Merlin. Okay, Rusher is looking at. I mean, does Rusher get it here? I mean, where's Merlin going to go, right? Like, oh my God. Rusher cuts him up. I think he's fine. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Who is he? Take the Blitzcrank away. It doesn't matter. He still kills.
Oh my God.
This is Angry Braum.
Oh my God.
Somebody clip that. Holy God. That was... Check King Nemesis's PC. That was a little scripty. That was a little bit funky to look at.
Yeah?
There. Absolutely ran all over the place, just avoiding every single skill shot that Merlin had, and then got out. I checked quick, was underneath the health threshold that was picked up by those passive procs. So again, all of those grabs that King Nemesis has been making, majorly influential there to make sure not only does Sway not die, but then Braum comes in and just says, I'm going to protect you by beating the crap out of you.
Yeah, King Nemesis doing some EV training at level 1.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. I mean, he got some HP, so he was probably killing some Audi nose. Those are some pretty good HP EVs right there. They're really good to help you out.
The fact that you know that offhand is a little terrifying.
It's like Audino. Sometimes Meryl and Azumarill also give some decent HP EVs. Good.
That's not where you want that going.
Braum there. As there we go. They're going to follow with the ultimate. Doesn't land on the Jews now, actually, but he's not going to be able to be taken down this time. But red team does get a good secure on the Drake. It's Sir Sam Potato taking some damage. There's the elastic slingshot over the wall. Mr. Potato looking to make Scion and the minions kiss as he keeps flashes on the other side here. That's going to be the ultimate coming down from Sir Sam Potato, but they got to be careful. Scion does have that passive available, and these HP bars are looking rather low. All right, they're going to respawn. They're just going to, they're just gonna
I was gonna.
Oh no!
Yeah, he's good. I was gonna make the
look.
joke
I just saw a Braum kill a Xerath. Okay, anything is possible in this game.
Anything is possible. I was gonna make the joke that when Rusher put the shield the wrong way, that he was just so used to using his abilities on enemies that he kind of forgot that he's got to aim that one like the correct way there. But yeah, now top side kind of faltering a little bit. We see the ground being taken back just bit by bit, thanks to the Xerathol.
Oh, 1, 2, 3. Merlin finally gets the kill there. They're just going to back away as Zach Braum had been waiting in the wings, but not going to be able to follow through on this. But they might be able to get something in the bot lane now that the Mage of None and Anthony have pushed up so far. All right, they're getting a plate, backing away.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
A little bit of extra gold, and that's the power that you have with Seraphine and Nautilus, right? They can just hang out there and push and take tower plates. That's where your gold advantage is mostly going to come from, on top of the extra push power that you have just from clearing the minions.
Yep. As we there's getting a little bit of a lull in the action here. We do have some shoving in from waves, and oh my God, he won. Just so much damage. The Gangplank has an Essence Reaver, and he still can't match how much Ewok is doing to him right now.
Yeah.
Which is really disheartening if you're the Gangplank, right?
Yeah. Ooh, nice grab.
pulled in. Good elastic slingshot here. Merlin's got nowhere to go. This Swain ultimate blocking him off. The led's bounce as well. 2 ultis popped. Mr. Potate picks up the kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, looking like we might just go on to that bot side too. While Mr. Potate used the ultimate, they can just bring Swain down. Now Wokian is looking to fight.
Yeah, the pillar comes down. Not going to be able to follow through onto the old Birdman. Look like they're just going to back away there. So yeah, a lot of these oh wait. Well, okay. Yeah. Oh, I love how Chundle can just press a button and be like, oh, we found it. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's
right?
fine.
Like,
yeah.
Trying to show up. My favorite thing with Trundle is just seeing the apologies for that. I was took us off directed camera for a second. But
did have a flash in the mid lane there.
Sorry.
No,
I messed this up a little bit.
Oh no.
I fix things here.
Oh no.
This is why I shouldn't be allowed to touch things.
We did have a flash in the mid lane there. Merlin was forced to flash away. No one was killed as of just yet. So looks like we're just gonna hang out a bit as as William and Mary makes their way over towards the Rift Herald. This is gonna be the first Rift Herald picked up this game so far. So this is gonna be a nice little bit of gold in their pockets for whichever lane they decide to throw it into. We thinking bot lane? We thinking top lane? Where we think we drop this Rift Herald is gonna be dropped?
I think you take this top because your goal right now, obviously after game 1, like so much of why William and Mary did so well was they got Ewok going and they just allowed Ewok to just split push the entire time. I don't think that's going to look to change. And that's really like your best win con here is Anthony's just forcing out a lot there. Unfortunate on the Seraphine ult, but not a problem there. You don't need to look for an engage to win this. You can just keep pushing.
Yeah, but I think the big problem is Seraphine's ultimate is so long. The cooldown is so long, and especially at level 1 as here comes King Nemesis cutting them off. There's the Gangplank ultimate as well. That's going to be 1. That's going to be 2. Actually, that's going to be King Mage of None picking up a kill for themselves. It's a 1-for-1 down in the bottom lane. Mage of None just needs to Astro walk their way out of there. There's the hook. I think they're fine.
Yep, Merlin is here for the extra assistance and will make sure Mage of None gets out. And I'll be honest there, I don't think Seraphine ult saves you there. So I think Anthony just goes down regardless. But it is a really solid engage that gives so much now to the Kai'Sa, to the Zac. You're able to get to your item breakpoints just a little bit faster. It is the Kraken Slayer, so we're seeing that AD Kai'Sa rather than the AP, which means our Q is the evolve that we're going to look for first.
Oh my god. Sir Sam Potato looking to contest a Scion in his fully stacked Q has the most amount of courage I've ever seen from any top laner.
Yeah.
Just
not a fun time in top.
Yeah, not a fun time. Scion Q. Ewok just continues the lane dominance up on the top lane here. Even in the eyes of an Essence Reaver, is just like, no, I'm good. You guys keep doing your thing. I'm great. I'm great up here. Having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, the only real option that you have there is, flash burn. Yeah, I guess flashing is one of those options that I didn't think about. But the only real option that you have is like hitting the barrels, but the barrels aren't even going to do a whole lot right now because you haven't leveled them very much yet. That is where your armor pen is, and it's just not. You have like 2-3 points in it right now, and you need to get that max real quick.
Yeah. It's just, that even if the gun doesn't do as much damage, it always does that 1 damage that you need as down to the bot lane. That's going to be the depth charge. There's going to be the Seraphine ultimate. The Brum shield does not block it this time, as that's going to be the Glacial Chasm coming across. Mage of None is taken incredibly low here and not within range is that Xerath ultimate, but he is going to be able to find the kill onto Swain, and that looks like the main target is dumping the top lane here. That's going to be the ultimate finally thrown out there. The Q, the W, the auto shut down for Scion up in the top lane. It's a 1-for-2 across the map. Yeah, and it looks like William and Mary come out on top. It's just Anthony. Oh no. Okay, well, might be in some trouble here. Yep, now they're dead. Yeah, they're
We're
definitely in
doing a
some trouble.
Wokey in here.
Just A is gonna be able to pick up the kill there. Easy peasy. 1-2 punch.
Yep, and that starts the Ewok train here. You take out the GP. If GP can't answer, again, what do you do? What do you answer with? Because Swain's not realistically going to be killing this Scion anytime soon. Kaisa can maybe do that, but then you don't have your AD carry for a fight, which is kind of important here.
Yeah. And not to mention, you can just have your Seraphine and Nautilus go up in the top lane and then swap with the Scion. Just have Scion go bot lane, right? Like you said, there's not a whole lot of folks on the map who can match Scion at this point, and just giving him a lane where you can easily push down a turret, and giving Seraphine the safe lane might actually be a little bit better for you, especially because, like other mages, Seraphine does need those items. So now Merlin forced to flash to the other side of Mr. Potate here, stunned up underneath turret, popping the ultimate as well, taking a lot of return damage. The rest of the red team coming through, forcing the flash away from the hook. The claw's not going to land either. Now Anthony definitely in a whole lot of trouble. So that's going to be the end of that.
Yeah, mid lane a little bit of action, but again, Azerath Flash does all the work.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a bit of an interesting little next few moments here. As we do have Dragon spawning in the next 2.5, so we'll be looking to see around that half of the map soon, and see how warding is going to be going. Speaking of which, these deep wards from William and Mary have been insane.
Yeah, they're gonna see now Mr. Potate come in. GP ult.
Yeah, that's depth charge. Huge Seraphine as well. Seraphine finally getting out of range a lot of these damage.
Oh, no.
Oh, teleport behind the whole team, as now Wokian is going to be the one having to deal the damage here. Struggling to find a target, I guess, as now the rest of the team is now collapsing onto Ewok. The big meatball is get rolled off the table, out the front door, and into a bush. He's not going to look for Sam, so he's going to try to find Sir Sam Potato. Not going to be able to find him this time.
Yeah, and again, just the damage is not there. The Seraphine ult got blocked. The damage was not enough. And while they were able to take out the Kaisa, like, you just don't have it after that. GP goes down. Ewok, Ewok goes in and just has to, like, face tank. And then the incidental damage of these tank characters that have a lot of base damage are going to just run through you from that point onwards. This should be the point now where we get the Leandries from the Swain, which is going to make team fighting with this Scion even rougher.
Yeah. And now we have that, now we have the, it might have been completed before, but now that we have Jock, oh no, it was just completed. Jock Show.
The Jock Show is just completed.
Yeah, that is an insanely powerful item that, if this game is looking to be won through the split push of Ewok, is definitely the item to do so. Especially, he has teleport as well. So this is going to be a split pusher that can access those team fights. So we're really going to have to keep our eyes on that Ewok in the top lane.
Little buff going to be shared. Swain's going to run that over and then go over to Ewok, who this is finally, we have an answer. King Nemesis can actually do something about this. Swain should be able to realistically continue to hit these hooks on the large target, get the W as well, and then the Leandries should just be a lot of trading back and forth, as we're seeing right now.
Yep. I wonder if the pull interrupts the cast.
It should. 100% should.
Okay. Something to be like, it would be funny if you just ended up pulling the cone closer to.
So, yeah, there is actually a fun little fact. Displacements are essentially counted the same as knockups in all situations. So you can Yasuo ult off of a Swain pool. Which is
kind of funny.
Looks a little goofy, and it's a little bit hard to actually work out, but it is possible.
Right. I wonder if it's just so they can be coded the same in like for ease of engineering,
Probably something like that. I also just think they didn't expect the amount of
Oh
displacements
my.
and everything. King Nemesis
Okay,
having Alto.
yeah, that I don't know. I don't know about this, friends, but Wokian is going to be able to get the kill and get out.
Where does
But is
Ewok
Ewok going to be able
go?
to get out? Oh yeah, immediately turn on on her. Yeah, okay, we're looking for it. She's real fast though.
Ooh.
Oh, Merlin's going to be able to get the kill there. As now Rusher's in some trouble, but Mr. Potate is waiting in the wings, and Wokian has popped that Rift Herald on the second half there. I think Wokian just needs to get out of there. That's going to be depth charge, following them all the way across that elastic slingshot here is Wokian. Looking on the Rusher here, there's the Glacial Chasm coming across. Might be able to do something here, but they are now ignited. That healing is not going to help you now as both the Nautilus and the Trundle go down, and there's not a whole lot that they can get in response here. The red team, and now
Swing.
Baron.
Yeah,
Baron
they've got
time.
the tank. They've got the tank. They've got the GP for the DPS. They can take this Baron pretty easily. They've just got to watch the Anthony and Merlin coming around.
Yeah, a lot of this is just going to be poking them off of it. That's going to be a big Seraphine ultimate here. That's some good damage. The blue team still able to secure the Baron Nashor. That's Elastic Slingshot over the wall, looking to pick up Anthony here, taking incredibly low, flashing forward, going to be able to get the last bit of damage. Mr. Potato is going to be able to pick it up, but will he be able to get out of this? Ewok still looking for the kill. Elastic Slingshot over the wall. He's safe. Zach is going to be able to get away. 5 Nashor buffs are here for Rude Awakening.
And again, they don't have the damage yet to burn through these characters. We also see the Ludens from Merlin here. I don't think that's the play. I really don't think that the Ludens is the item that you want here. You need DPS on these tanky characters. The burst onto the Kaisa does not mean anything when this could happen.
Yeah, Merlin getting dove underneath the second turret here. Look at that poke damage. Incredibly good in order to fish out the kill onto Xerath here. It looks like they just let Xerath through the picks and bans in order to bait Merlin into playing it. It's like, yeah, we got exactly the number to play against the Xerath here. That's gonna be depth charge over the wall. Is it an engage though? He's still looking for something. They're just going to back away. Let's take a look at this bot lane once again. Ewok in this bot lane. Pushing.
Yeah, Ewok still able to do what Ewok does, right? Like that's great. And I also wanted I wanted to point this out. Yep.
There he goes.
There he goes. I really do like the Jack Show pickup. A lot of people look at it and be like, "Oh, you just go Heartsteel because like Scion has health scaling, and you want to make sure that you have like it is good from a dueling perspective. But if you do ever want to team fight with Scion, if you are not looking to just always split push, the Jack Show is generally the better option because when you are stacking, like Scion does not need more health. He gets enough health with his W. What you need is resistances, because if you just stack up on health, you're not actually getting a whole lot tankier, especially when you're seeing the percent health items start to come in.
Yes, now Sir Sam Potato in a bad spot up in the top lane. Oh, is able to make it out though. He's on a rampage. Ewok looking to chase him down. He might be able to do it. Those crits were so insanely powerful. As now he's looking to get his Mage of None is coming through. That's gonna be the Q. That's gonna be the ultimate.
Oh.
There comes the rest of the team. Finally, he goes down after wasting so much of their time up there. And now Ewok in that zombie form, just gonna let it tick down. What a play up in the top lane there.
Yeah, they just can't get onto the GP in time, and they pay the price for it. Now Merlin gonna get dove again.
Yeah, underneath the turret, nowhere to go, no mobility to save you. And Merlin is going to go down as well here as the next inner turret is taken by Rude Awakening here.
Yeah, this is starting to get very concerning, and the mage bot lane not in great times at the moment. Man, if this was a Ziggs, I would feel almost a little better, because like I'm looking at like our what are the mage bot laners that you can go, and you know the options were okay. Ziggs is up, Karthus was banned, Swain got taken away. Like Seraphine and Ziggs were the options. I'm like looking at this team and thinking like, what are we buffing, right? Like yes, Trundle is there, but we have seen already in this top side, but Trundle can't get in. Trundle gets popped by the GP. Trundle can't run through Swain and Zac at this point. The Rylai's is completed on the Swain. The Radiant Virtue on the Zac. So when the ult pops, everybody's getting more heals.
Yep.
It's really looking tough here if you try to team fight at all. I think the option for William and Mary just has to be the split push. Ewok has to do what Sion does best.
Yeah, not to mention that, like, this Seraphine has been sitting on the, has paid her 800 gold tax, but I feel like that needs to be a Morello Nomicon. It needs to be a Morello Nomicon.
Yeah.
It needs to be a, oh my god, Chemtech Putrefier, right? It has
not
to
the
be
Putrefier,
that
please, not the Putrefier.
As here
not
we go,
good
on to
anymore.
King Nemesis. Oh my god, Blade of the Rune King flailing on the king right there is now Rusher Law throwing out the Glacial Chasm. They're fighting Mr. Potato. Here comes the teleport in, but Wokian is already gone. And here comes the rest of the ultimates as well, as Anthony has to back away. They're trying to find a target to focus here, and I guess it's Rusher Law. But one by one, they're going down. Justav is going to pick up one. They're going to pick up another. That's Zac picking up those kills, actually, as Ewok is in the thick of it, and Merlin far away, still underneath the turret, still getting dove. No matter what point of this game, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 26 minutes, you better believe Merlin is not safe underneath that turret.
Yeah, and again, like, so that first part of the fight, great. Wokian getting the kill, awesome. Love to see that. Stun, gonna take Merlin. Yeah, goodbye. The early part of the fight was great. Wokian getting the kill. That's the kind of skirmishing that you want to see from William and Mary's team. The problem came from when they TP'd in. You don't want Yamthity there. You don't want Ewok there because you're not a team fight team. You're not going to win team fights at this point. It is never going to be that way in this game. And you need to recognize that and say, all right, cool. We got the 1-for-1 trade. We killed King Nemesis. That's a really important kill for us. What are we doing on the opposite side of the map? Well, they all respond to this Trundle.
Yeah. It's... You need to be able to, if you are looking to win similarly way again, which they've already made that decision kind of, you need to be able to give more space to Ewok to split push these lanes, because they've been losing team fight after team fight and they've been committing hard. And I think the big problem at first was once that team fight went down, you know, once one member went down, the person they were picking, they were like, hey, let's keep fighting. And then pick targeting, like targeting was all random. Didn't seem like everyone had a cohesive target, and all the targets that they could hit
panic
in melee range was Rusher, Lol, Mr. Potato, like these big beefy boys in the front line, which sure, you've got a Trundle, but like there's something is not correct here, right? Like we need to be hitting Justin. It's not like you can just turn tail, turn around and start hitting Kaisa, right?
Yeah. It's really, really unfortunate. Ooh, good stun.
Okay, good follow-up with the Seraphine as well. Depth charge to follow through. Hook. Mr. Potato taking low. That's a shutdown for Yamthony.
That's a huge shutdown for Yamthony. We do see the Putrefier to my own peril, but we do see the death on Mr. Potato. That's 900 gold over to the Seraphine. Ewok, I don't know about this one, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know about this one either. He's going to pop the ultimate to try to go through Rusher Law here, but Justav does have the maximum HP damage. He has to flash on the other side of the Gangplank ultimate, and now Merlin is down. That's a huge damage source from their team going down, but that's going to be Swain to answer, but there's still Gangplank alive in this team fight. They can't just turn this around. Seeker comes through. Kaisa does not have a way to follow up on that, but that's still a bit of a messy team fight there. A little bit of an overstep from Ewok there. A little bit of a... I'll say an overestimation of how tanky they are.
Yeah, they take the Swain, but they lose Wokian and Merlin in the process. And man, again, I don't like that we're saying, okay, we got to pick, we can fight. And it's like, no, you can't. You're just not going to. Ewok has to split push. Ewok was succeeding in the split push, got that tier 2 tower, and then you get the you get the Zac. Cool. You just got a huge bonus for yourself You don't need to keep pressuring that in that way. You've already gotten the most that you're going to be able to. You just take the win and you go from there. Keep pressure, force the response down to the Scion, which then gives you the opportunity to push that mid lane.
Right.
Now, without this mid lane pushed, and now without Ewok continuing to push on the bot side, you've lost Prio. You lost the death timers to go for this dragon, and this is Soul that's going to be going over to RA.
Yeah, not just any soul. This is Earth Soul. This might not be the most like flashy of the Dragon Souls, but this is definitely one that's like, hey, you now need to cut through a lot more HP than you were before. And, this is going to be a lot harder for you to deal with, especially with how many melee champions you have, right? You don't have the consistent damage to put forth all the damage through onto the front line there, but this is just a really tough moment right now.
It's not only that, but ironically, Mountain Soul is one that Seraphine loves to have. And that's specifically because you always have that shield on, which gives you the free W. You get the free empowered W every time. Because if you remember right, it's not using the W twice, it is being shielded and then hitting W. That is the interaction of how that Seraphine W works. And when you have Mountain Soul, it is a free heal every time you hit W. Without that, that's really unfortunate for yourselves, especially when you had an opportunity for it.
Right. Because now, Ewok, once again, doing Ewok things, matched by King Nemesis here, might actually be able to do so. Still able to cut through a lot of that damage there. And now, he's going to have to cut... Scion is going to have to cut through all those
the CC
stats.
chains, so
And,
good.
yeah, that's really good start to the fight as well. Rusher Law in some trouble here, taken incredibly low, but that's the support they're spending all that time on. As now, look at this. 2 members down on the red team. Wokian is going to be next. Here comes Scion charging into a 1v5 now. And now it's just, where is he going to go? This Swain ultimate is never going to end. And that's going to be Merlin falling as well. This might just be the end of the game.
Yeah, this is 100% the end of the game. William and Mary unable to make the same thing happen that they did in game 1 with that split push. The Scion never got the opportunity. They kept trying to push fights, and they never had to. But with that Rude Awakening, they take advantage of it, and they take game number 2.
Yeah. Certainly is going to be an interesting game, and I just felt like, hey, that if the idea was we want Ewok to split push, that Hullbreaker came in super late. Yeah. Not only that, right? You mentioned before, like, hey, maybe this is the time that we want Scion to split put. It's like it was unclear what we actually wanted the Scion to do here, right? It's like, oh, we want you to split push. Oh, we want you to team fight. And it keeps going back and forth. And because of that, you kind of get this half-assed build of Jock Show plus Hullbreaker, right? When you really want, like you said before, like that Heart Steal. That Heart Steal really, really good at that 1v1. It's going to scale you up really, really tall. You're going to do a lot of damage because you just scale based off of HP, right? But if we're looking to team fight here, then Jock Show is a lot better. But if we're looking to team fight, why are we picking up the Hullbreaker?
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's a little unfortunate. I think I went in saying, I don't like this draft, and then I think the choices made didn't seem to, like, the way that I saw this winning was you let Scion split push, and I mentioned it multiple times. I don't think that William and Mary fully grasped that until it got too late, until it really wasn't possible to do anymore. And it felt like they were never confident in it because they kept saying, "Oh, we got to kill. Let's fight. Let's TP in. Let's move forward on this." And even getting a kill is not enough with the composition that you have drafted for yourself. But it's how it goes. We're going to be getting ready for game number 3 pretty shortly, though.
Yeah, we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on picks and bans of game number 3 of these two teams up against each other, Rude Awakening versus William and Mary. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We're just into our draft for game number 3. Shikari unfortunately had some other things come up, so it was just gonna be me for this broadcast to finish it out. We are getting right underway. Again, Rude Awakening on the blue side, William and Mary on the red. That has been consistent throughout the entire night. We'll see how things want to shift up here. Again, I was very critical of the game to draft for William and Mary. I don't think Rude Awakening are going to swap up their bans at all. We'll see if William and Mary want to change things, though. I think realistically, we just pick something that has a little bit more DPS. We pick something with a little more damage, and we'll be okay. The GP also going to be banned away, so they're going to swap back over to that now. What William and Mary banned game number 1 was Caitlyn, GP, Gragas. They swapped the GP for the Aurelian Soul. So this time, either Gragas or Caitlyn are going to be getting through for Rude Awakening. And I would assume Rude Awakening might look to first pick whatever is not banned, because they would love to be able to have that. Maybe the Rel ban. I don't think the Rel ban is a bad option either. So that would leave both the Gragas and the Caitlyn. If both these teams prioritize that and think that both of those champs are strong, you could just trade them. It's A-okay on that one. It's going to be the Rel ban. Rude Awakening now looking to lock in there first, and it seems like the Gragas might be it. Gragas being a pickup for both of these top laners, and even a couple of the junglers as well. So it is a very heavy power pick that both these teams would love to have, but it is going to be Rude Awakening that take it. So we don't know where this Gragas is going. Can be going top, can be going jungle. Gragas top did get a couple of nerfs to that passive to that passive specifically, which means that we are going to be getting a little bit less regen, but it is still going to be powerful. It's still something that might be a response to whatever William and Mary want to take up on that top side, or just a solid disengaged jungler, if that's how they would like to play it. Speaking of the engage versus disengage, Sivir locked in, gonna help out with the move speed on this ultimate. William and Mary already changing things up a good bit, and with the Swain hover, I would assume that's gonna be locked in. I love this. Sivir and Swain are best friends. You pop the Sivir ult, Swain pops his ult, and he can just run into people and stay there for a long, long time. Becomes a lot harder to kite out. And if you get a solid mid-game, William and Mary can kind of pull this one away. We'll see what Rude Awakening want to respond with. Now, remember, they did lock in the Swain last time as their pick against William and Mary. Corki is going to be locked in. Now, Corki has not seen play for a good long while. And I want to actually double check on this, because if I remember right, Corki was either getting a buff or going to be getting a buff. I did not get a buff in the last patch. So I believe his next patch might be getting a buff. But Corki, despite all of the Triforce prevalence that we have seen, we have not gotten a lot of Corki, which is slightly surprising. But kind of depends on how you play it, right? There's the normal kind of 80 carry style of Corki that people can play. There's also been a lot of the full, like, kind of AP, not full AP, but like the poke Corki, where you just put all of it in the rockets and try to poke people out with that. The Vayne lock-in from Rude Awakening is the Bel'Veth lock-in from William and Mary. All of a sudden, this draft got spicy. Vayne gonna have very, very little range here, which is not gonna be a fun time. Sivir, not solid range herself, but she does have the ability. She has the ricochet, she has the boomerang to just poke out this Vayne very heavily. Support picks are gonna be very, very influential for these lanes, because both these short range 80 carries want to make sure they can get priority over the other. The Bel'Veth lock-in is also interesting, and I love getting to talk about the Bel'Veth, because Bel'Veth, people think of Bel'Veth as a really strong late game champion. But that's really not where her power is. And if you've looked at stats, Bel'Veth's power curve, or win rate curve rather, has been in the mid game. And the reason for that being that, yes, Bel'Veth technically has infinite scaling, but that's not the important part. The important part is the fact that you have a Q which has 4 uses, that is 4 abilities, and your auto attacks, and you have what is essentially a Yi meditate in terms of your defensive capabilities on top of doing damage. Bel'Veth is really, really powerful in early to mid game skirmishes. And right now, Rude Awakening don't really have a lot in answer to that. The Vayne can dodge out of Bel'Veth decently. Corki kind of can, but they don't have somebody who can fight Bel'Veth straight up. So William and Mary locking in really solid early to mid game presence here. The Heimerdinger lock in as well. Is this a Heimer support? Heimer support had its time in the limelight, got nerfed a bit. And then I have seen bits and pieces of Heimer. Heimer has also been picked up as a bot laner here and there as well. So I'm interested to see where the Heimerdinger is really going to go. There is the possibility of a top lane Heimer. So we'll kind of keep our eyes out here and see exactly what happens. Just kind of threw me off a little bit. Dr. Mundo locked up in the top sides here, so that is going to be a jungle Gragas for Rude Awakening. Mundo also a very, very good blind top laner here. He does not have the level of early game presence that he has had in the past. However, he does stay alive. He can just farm with Cleaver, and that's totally okay. He also, in a tank v tank matchup, can go toe-to-toe very easily. So, Dr. Mundo, a very good blind pick in that sense. The Karma also locked in for the Vayne, which is so very good against this Sivir and this Heimerdinger. You could just poke out the turrets. You can poke out Sivir as well. Karma's damage is really solid, and I think it's getting buffed next patch as well, which is crazy to think about. So I'm definitely looking at Karma to be a power pick, not only here, but to be a power pick in the next couple of weeks. Gwen is the final pick for the top side here. William and Mary answering the Mundo with a Gwen. And while Mundo definitely can farm with the cleavers there, he's not going to do much else. Mundo is just going to stay back and try to not fight Gwen as much as possible. It's not going to be a fun time at the top side, but it is kind of what we expect here with Ewok again getting a split pusher here. We're going to get that client draft underway real quick here. So, we kind of talked about top lane. Gwen, split push power. Mundo, try to not die power. That is the power that Mundo is going to have. However, if we move on, I kind of mentioned we don't have somebody to answer the Bel'Veth. I still don't think we do. Early game Bel'Veth is going to go crazy here. Just no ability to really stop Bel'Veth from doing what she wants to do, and nobody to answer her in terms of damage. So keep your eyes on the early game of this Bel'Veth. I really, really don't want to see this just be a power farm Bel'Veth. You can make a lot of things happen with this champion early on, and the opportunities are there. You can poke out the passive on the Mundo and just go in afterwards with that. You don't really need a lot of CC because you have a lot of mobility, both Gwen and the Bel'Veth. You have mid lane as well. Corki can get grabbed, can get the W interrupted by Bel'Veth W. You have opportunity there in your damage. Everything looks solid for William and Mary as long as they get a decent bit of a lead early on. We look at what Rude Awakening have. Corki late game is very solid. Vayne late game, that's what she is. She is a late game champion. Mundo, tankiness later on, very difficult to deal with. those are the vehicles with which Rude Awakening are looking to win this game. They've just got to suffer out the early game and maybe, potentially, get something going with a Gragas gank. The E-Flash is a powerful tool to use, and it has opportunities. It's just really like, can we gank mid lane early? Can we get on to Swain before he gets that level 6? Heimerdinger, you've got to take out the turrets before you go for a gank on that bot side. But if you don't have turrets set up for Heimer, that's another opportunity. 2 squishy champions to try and fight. Rude Awakening gonna try and set themselves up for a victory here. But it's gonna be one that they are gonna have to wait for a good, decent bit. William and Mary, like we said, the move speed from Sivir is going to be very important. The Heimerdinger for that extra bit of presence on that bot side. But really, if you get past that, if you get past the Sivir Swain Death Ball composition, you don't have much. You got the Gwen split push. You're always going to have the Gwen split push, but it is a bit of a stat check composition. And if your stats don't check out, you're going to be checking out the death screen for a good long while. About to hit our spectator delay. And I've said about all that I can about these compositions, so we're going to send it to a quick break as we get ready for game number 3, the final game of the night. Guys, do not go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. Alrighty, guys, we are into game number 3. Teams have loaded in. It's just a 5-point start across the board for both teams. You're going to see both junglers looking like they're going to start on opposite sides of the map, which is very interesting, I think, for both. These are both junglers that have solid early game ganking presence. And neither one of them are going to get counter ganked here, so we can see a lot of action early on. Bel'Veth's going to be starting on those Raptors, clearing them out very fast, moving over to the red buff. Just going to be seeing farming, I think, otherwise. Like we said, top lane, Mundo, very much just going to be hitting those cleavers and staying away outside that. Mid lane, a little bit of poke, but very unlikely we see a whole lot. Now, bot lane is where things do get a little bit interesting with the Heimerdinger. It's very, very key. This Heimerdinger is able to set up turrets pretty consistently. Otherwise, the presence of this Heimerdinger is kind of lost. We're getting to level 2 and kind of doing what Gwen does best. Just saying, Potato, do not want to be too close. Merlin going to take a tower shot as well. See a little bit of funkiness all across the board. We have Airy on Wokian. I think Wokian took the wrong runes. I think I see now why this game struggled to load a little bit. Wokian, you're not having a great time. Speaking of not having a great time, Merlin having to flash away after the body slam from Mr. Potate. King Nemesis forcing Swain flash early, and we kind of said that's where you can look to gank early on. Before level 6, Swain is very vulnerable. Age of None getting a little bit of poke down with the turrets as well. Hope to see if they can make something out of that. Merlin also having it back, using the teleport as well. So both those summoners down for Swain cannot push out very far from that tower without playing with risk. Yamathy now up, has snuck into this bush, looking for the fight. Sir Sam Potato going to move up. Now they're just going to go in. Remember, there is the passive on the Mundo. They're going to pop it. First blood going over to Yamthany. Again, we said that the power is there for the Bel'Veth, and they utilized it greatly. Forcing teleport now as well. Sir Sam Potato going to get back up there. Won't miss a lot of farm, but does not have the teleport for a reset, which is very important with how crazy this lane is. Rusher almost going down to a boomerang blade. The area bringing in at least a little bit of extra poke here for Wokian. Yeah, Wokian, at the very least with this Heimerdinger, doing a great job forcing out backs, and that will be Karma backing away for the reset. King Nemesis also tanking a little bit for Merlin, but King Nemesis very happy here. Started with that cull, and again with that summoner burn. Now Yamthany actually going back up on that top side, just going to use those 2 Qs, get in position here, pops the passive off of Sir Sam Potato, and they're just going to run him down. He was pushed too far forward. Remember, does not have that teleport. So Sir Sam Potato, while he does flash to stay alive, will not be able to reset easily. This lane is going to be frozen here, and Ewok has all the control needed. Love to see the presence here from the Bel'Veth. Having a great time showing up and making Sir Sam Potato's life hell. Merlin also doing a great job off of the reset to come in, poke out the Skorky just a little bit more. Wokian now actually getting into a fight with Rusher, who's gotten a little bit too deep into the towers. Has to flash away from the Heimer turrets. Wokian and Mage of None, at the very least, getting out some summoners here. Rusher's going to have to back again. This time it'll be in sync with Justov. The presence of the Heimer has been felt. Anthony doing a great job here, and Fortunately, Mr. Potato just not able to match. Trying to respond by stealing some jungle camps. Is coming around, but is spotted out here. Cannot go for this gank. Mr. Potato, you are in trouble. Yamthony coming around onto the other side, hitting the knockup, trying to get help from the team. A heal used just to make sure Yamthony stays alive. But Mage of None hits the stun onto Rusher. Ignite turns, so it is going to be a 1-for-1. Mage of None goes down. Wokian trying to run down, but doesn't have the pressure. Will flash for the kill. Yamthony turning back onto this Gragas. Wokian is here for it, but Yamthony does not have the health bar, so they're just gonna back away. At the end of it, it is a 1-for-2 in favor of William and Mary. And I believe, was that King Nemesis walking down? That was King Nemesis walking down, right? Yeah, that was teleport already used. So King Nemesis walks down to catch the wave here, which just allows Merlin a free back. So while it is not only the kills earned in favor of William and Mary, it's also the presence, the pressure. They allow Swain the timer to back here very safely, not losing any farm in this wave, in a great spot for Swain. King Nemesis kind of walking around the map, unable to do a whole lot here. And now, as we see, Mage of None being an annoying little Heimerdinger all across the map now. Shows up, pushes the Corki away. Heimer might get caught on this rotate here. Nope, gonna get away, but the Dragon will be started. Mage of None. Well, the pressure of Heimer has been great. The levels have suffered a bit. Vision of Empire is going to see them doing the Dragon, but I don't think there's a response. Belveth is up on that top side. Got to steal away a Gromp for the trouble. The first Dragon going over to our team over on the blue side here. Rude Awakening at least getting something going for themselves. An early Ocean Dragon is great for them for that extra little bit of healing, especially for this Mundo. Super great for Mundo to get any kind of extra regen that he can in this lane. Wants to try and stay alive. Well, that's not where you want to be. Yamthony getting on top of this Mundo, but may actually be paying the price here, as here comes Mr. Potato. The cast is used, the cleaver does not hit, but the Gragas does. That is going to be 1-for-1. Merlin popped the ult pretty early. Has to flash to get enraged, but it's going to be enough for Sam Potato to go down. King Nemesis has showed up, but does not have any mana. Merlin forcing the flash out of King Nemesis, and they're going to keep going. A grab is going to hit, and now Ewok shows up for the assist. King Nemesis giving the kill over to Merlin. It is one across there for Merlin and Ewok, as it is just the kill from Yamthony's death. Another one trade here for William and Mary. We also just see the pressure here on this bot side still. So they get the kills. They also keep bot lane in a bad spot. Rusher playing so far back right now, as that is going to be the stun, and the burst from Mage of None is enough. Wokian shows up under the tower here. The poke from the turret is enough. Mage of None getting the kill onto the Karma, and now Wokian and Mage of None get to push even harder. Disaster has struck for Rude Awakening. Now we do see, at the very least, Mr. Potato gets the Rift Herald, will steal that away, but at the cost of the life, which gives the reset. Now, all things said and done, stealing that Rift Herald, most of the time is kind of like, oh, whatever. Exceedingly important against a Belveth. You take away that special evolve to give those Void Remora. Now we do see Justov going in, dodges out on the stun from the Heimerdinger, will get the turnaround, so an extra 150 for the Vayne. Justov gets the kill. Amazing action across the board for both these teams now. Finally, we see a little bit of life for Rude Awakening, able to not only steal that Rift Herald, but get the counter kill on that bot side. Now Merlin getting into a fight with King Nemesis here, going under the tower, just a little bit tanking, maybe a little bit too far. Cask used by Mr. Potato. The forward cask as well from the Q, but the healing is enough from the Swain to get out. Yep, that he has showed up. Gonna go on to Mr. Potato, who does go over the wall. So it is a 0-0 trade, but definitely felt like it was a little bit more powerful from Rude Awakening. Just could not get the kill on Merlin. Top side, more of Ewok fighting out against this window. And now, Sam Potato, maybe looking back, does have the teleport, can back and get back up. Ewok, don't think can tower dive here, but there's definitely a lot of poke to be had. Rusher, you can't be that far forward there, buddy. The Heimerdinger's just going to kill you. I don't know what the plan was there. Heimer turret's just eating away at Mr. Potato's health as well. The poke from this Heimer is disgusting. Cannot be running into these Heimer turrets. I know that a lot of people will not think about, whoa, E-Flash, not how that champion works. Now Justov hitting the condemn, popping the ult now, trying to trade onto Wokian. There's no spell to shield Wokian, wasting that spell a little bit. Justov now going to turn on to Yamthany, pushing him away from the tower. Well, they don't get anything out of it. At the very least, they push away the potential of a dive for William and Mary. Backs will have to come through, and this is 26 seconds before this next dragon is going to come up. So, Rude Awakening maybe setting themselves up for a second dragon early on. While they don't have the kills, that can be a win condition for them. Rude Awakening really wanting to get into a solid spot here. Package going to be used, but it's going to put King Nemesis under the tower. The grab is going to hit. Merlin's going to keep fighting this one. The missiles are hitting, but the damage is not sticking. King Nemesis has to dodge out of the Vision of Empire, and that just means the shotgun fingers are going to do the work. Swain gets his second kill of the game. Merlin, very happy with that one. Just as the dragon spawns, takes the wind out of the sails for Rude Authority. Now they've got to stay very careful here because they don't have a mid lane to play around. Merlin maybe staying a little bit too long. There is the Q, the cask. Mr. Potato didn't hit the body slam. We're just waiting on that cooldown. W is enough, though. Shutdown going over. Now we see another fight down on the bot side as Rusherlaw has a flash away from the ignite. Burn damage almost taking Karma down, but will survive. And Justov also taking a lot of poke in the process. Meanwhile, that Belveth takes the dragon. Will get the evolve. Now Yevtity seeing Mr. Potato gonna go in, but the burst of this Gragas is a lot to be feared, and that's gonna be a kill going to Mr. Potato. You can't take that fight. All the while on the bot side, we do see the first tower taken, and it is taken by Wokian and Mage of None, who have just controlled this bot side. 20 farm advantage, 3 kill advantage on the Heimerdinger specifically. Karma has not been able to get the poke down as you would love to see. And it's tough. It's tough now because you have given Heimerdinger exactly what he needs to be as a support. He is usually a little bit of a struggle bug if he falls behind early, because he really has expensive items, but you've given him the gold that he needs to do what he does best, and that is to be an annoying little jerk. Hate that champion with a passion. The skin makes him bearable, because it is cute skin. I will admit this much. But he's still a jerk. King Nemesis now going to be at the brunt of the poke here. Again, I want to also point all of this out. I want to point this out. All of this is being done with Wokian having Airy, from what I have to imagine here, is a mistake. And they've been making the most of it. Rusher gonna get the Q spell shielded by Wokian. Now we're going back to the top side. Lots of damage onto Ewok, but the flash away not gonna be enough. The cleaver will land and Ewok will go down. A massive kill for this Mundo, who now gets to push and take some of this tower down. You want to get this tower down so that this Mundo can group with the team, maybe look for fights then. Now we look at the bot side as Anthony is going to get condemned against the wall. W's not going to hit. Junstay Justov is actually going to kite this one out, and the Belveth gets styled on, broke the ankles. Merlin next on the menu, but this is a tanky Swain. Can you fight it out? Justov is actually going to force him to flash and take the kill. 1v2, the Vayne wins. Complete power from Justov, who runs down both Anthony and Merlin. Absolutely controlled here. We'll also look at this gank in the mid lane. We are seeing if Mr. Potato can do it. Nope, not going to land. The E still going to keep going on it. The stun, the towers, the Heimerdinger. Damage is good. The ignite, the burn, the heal, dashed forward, but Wokian was around to turn it back. Rusher in a little bit of trouble. Anthony tried to get in, will hit the W. Not going to go in on it, though. Boomerang is going to miss. The TP has come in. It has been countered by Ewok as well. Cersei and Potato trying to get the kill, will get Belveth down, but it is at the cost of a Corki. Now, Ewok backing away because this Vayne has shown up, and he gets caught by the Swain. The never move, never live. Ewok gets the helps get that kill, and that will be all of a sudden William and Mary, where they shouldn't have won, pick up the Vayne at the right angle. Merlin also just hitting crazy good. Swain never moves. Influential in getting that Vayne down. That is not only Vayne going down, but that is a bounty going over to Wokian as well. So extra money for the Sivir. We're very close to getting those Navori Quick Blades finished. I'm sorry, what? I stand corrected. It is a Black Cleaver. I don't know what this is for. So, we'll talk about this after Mage of None does whatever goofy garbage he's doing right now. Yep. There it is, the tower stack. Mr. Potato gonna use the cast to get away. Anthony maybe paying the price on that one. The Q will be enough to ghost as well, but that is as the dragon spawns. So maybe, just maybe, we could see Rude Awakening actually get their second Dragon Bogey, and now getting into a fight with Rusher, and Rusher does not win that one in the slightest. Dragon gonna be started up. Anthony gonna pull it out just a little bit. Very low health on this Belveth. She's almost just kind of here for the smite. It's not gonna heal up a whole lot doing it. No lifesteal as well. There is the package right onto the Belveth, who will go down. Now it is the fight for the Vayne. Justov can't get into there. Will not be able to do any auto attacks. The speed from Wokia gets them into the fight. Justov condemning the Sivir away. Merlin does not get anybody with the Swain ult, but what they do is they push out enough that even despite losing out on Anthony, they don't lose out heavily on the fight. Now, Mr. Potato, after getting the dragon, now going into this fight, not with a team though, and is just gonna give away his life. A dead Gragas, 2 kills for 1, technically in favor of William and Mary, but the dragon picked up by Rude Awakening. I want to talk about this. What are we picking the Black Cleaver for? Because I'm looking at this, and Quick Blades is a very good item on Sivir, and I understand you don't have the lethal tempo, and you would love to have the lethal tempo with the Quick Blades. But the thing about Black Cleaver, and where a lot of Black Cleaver's power comes from, is by amplifying your teammates. It is very similar to a Abyssal Mask, right? Mage of None, you're gonna die here, buddy. It is very similar to an Abyssal Mask here, where you lower the resistances of your opponents, not just for yourself, but for your teammates as well. the Black Cleaver is not helping your team because you have a Swain, you have a Gwen. The only AD damage that you have on your team is a Belveth who has most of her damage. Well, I won't say most, but she has a decent chunk of damage that is in true damage. So I'm a little confused on it. As we are going to see Needlework popped, Condemn used, Wokian now getting caught out. Spell shield will stop the body bop, but it doesn't matter. Ewok now getting a little bit run down. They're going to turn back over as the Ghost is popped just off out of the tower. Will get taken down by Ewok. Teleport is coming in now, but it's a little bit too late. You can't fight that 2v1. King Nemesis dodging out, using that jump to avoid the never move. Ewok, they're splitting up. Yamptony maybe just taking the L on this one. Rusher going to show up, tries to get the tether, but the the tower rather, is there. King Nemesis stuck to clear out this wave, which Corki very capable of doing at this point. I do want to point out, I understand that it is the HLE Viper build. It's still not providing a whole lot. A lot of the gold value in Black Cleaver is providing shred for the whole team versus yourself. And you're also not looking at anybody but Mundo being a heavy tank here, because it is a full AP Gragas. So I think I think this build has some level of merit. And, I am also getting the idea that this is intentional for the area as well, because you're going to get a second stack of the Black Cleaver. Yeah, it makes sense from the sense of you're going to have Aerie hit, and that's a stack of Cleaver, because Aerie does adaptive damage. So it is going to do physical damage if you're building AD. It's going to do magic damage if you're building AP. And the way Black Cleaver works is if you do physical damage, it shreds. But again, it's got to be about, like, what are you providing? What is this doing for your team? If you have an AD top laner, if you have an AD jungler, all of a sudden this provides a whole lot. Oh, the body bop stopped by the Heimer turret, which just keeps Mr. Potato in place long enough for a kill. Rusher gonna use that tether, flashing over the wall now. Mr. Potato getting caught out again. Nemesis continuing the poke. Ooh, the big missile, not enough. Very, very close to Mage of None going down. You're going to see things kind of slow down just for this moment here. Dragon going to be spawning in about 15 seconds, as both these teams would love to get this one. Especially Rude Awakening. They want to make sure they can get a soul point to give themselves at least something for their team. Now, granted, again, we kind of talked about this earlier in the cast with Shinkari. It is a Cloud Dragon. Cloud Dragon, honestly, I think it's a little underrated. I think it's an okay dragon. The soul, really, really goddamn good for William and Mary. You pop Sivir, you pop Swain, you're zooming. You're great. You're happy. Corki loves Cloud Dragon. He can pop it on cooldown. Does not matter. Karma, also very similar with that. But these teams actually really like this Cloud Soul. Love to get their hands on it. Right now, it seems like Rude Awakening are going to be the ones that actually started out. The package having to be used early on. King Nemesis trying to back away, using those little pellets there to try and get at least a little bit of healing. Merlin buying so much time. Look at the healing of the Swain. Takes two out. It is Wokian that gets those two kills, and they're going to continue on forwards. There goes the Bane. Sam Potato gets a kill in response, but will just get slowly walked down. It is an ace. William and Mary force the fight, and they're going to get the dragon. They're probably going to get a lot more than the dragon as well. A great engage there, and Merlin setting that up perfectly. Popping the ult, getting them just in range, and the grab was just the go button immediately. Wokian getting those two kills. Now they're just going to go over to this the Baron as well. You're going to get both of these. Ideally, I think they want to wait a couple of seconds for Sivir to get it. They're not gonna. Just gonna take the 4 Baron buffs and go. Great stuff from William and Mary to really push their lead just that much further. Now sitting at about a 5,000 gold advantage here. So they're going to see what they do with this Baron is actually the really important part. Now, because of the fact that Sivir does not have this Baron, you have to keep in mind that she needs somebody with her. Not that they have not had people with the Sivir consistently, but she's going to be at her best where she is getting this extra little bit of push thanks to the Baron buff. She clears waves like nothing else. Static Shiv with the Ricochet, going to destroy waves. But if you want to get her on towers, got to have the backup. Ewok also probably at what is the best point of this Gwen, and we're going to see it in action here as Sam Potato did not realize how low that turret was. No, juked out the needlework. Ewok, you can't miss those, buddy. We also have the Void Remora going in for this Baron, and they're just going to take this tower down immediately. The push power is immense here. Ewok on that top side. The Void Remora from this Bel'Veth. Oh my goodness. You want Anthony over there. You want to make sure that you're getting the Void Remora. Oh no. Come on. Come on. Please give me it. It's actually a little bit of a mistake there, I think. You really, really, really want Bel'Veth in one of those lanes because it doesn't matter if Bel'Veth gets the kill. It matters as long as she is near them when they die. You get the Void Remora. Top lane, they're forcing to send people over to Ewok. Mr. Potato showing up a little bit now. Cleaver's going to hit, but Ewok not worried in the slightest. Body slam from Potato hits a minion. Waiting across here for minions. Top lane getting shoved in. That is going to be the bot lane turret falling first. All the inhibitors at threat, and it's perfect timing to back off. Top lane goes down. Mid lane goes down next. We're seeing the inhibitors start to take some damage. This first inhibitor on that top side. They're going to go in onto Justov. The Vayne in trouble, and that will be the Vayne solo killed by this Bel'Veth. Merlin showing up now as well to try and confirm a couple of more kills. There goes Karma. Rusher down. King Nemesis having to flash away. Merlin, you're back under the tower there, buddy. You're a little bit low. Gotta be careful. The Zhonya's used just to buy a little bit more time. Wokian fighting against this Mundo, who is the only person that it can't kill very easily, but with the help of Ewok, will get that one. Nemesis, the only one left alive for Rude Awakening. He's just gonna have to run away. The minions are swarming the base, and it is gonna be William and Mary choking out Rude Awakening in game number 3 for the win. Rude Awakening looking strong in game number 3. And while I very much disliked, and oh my goodness, I forgot that they were on opposite sides. My bad, guys. While I really disliked that game 2 draft, and I don't think that this Sivir build was the one to go for in this game, I do think that it was a solidly played game, and that was the important part. Ewok had control, and not only did Ewok have control of the top side, but Yamthony was there to make sure it happened. So even if there was Gragas pressure, by the time Gragas actually had an impact on that top side, Ewok was already out of control. There was no answer for this for this Gwen. Mundo was not enough. Yamthony, while getting caught out here and there, did his job early. Swain, incredible. Incredible never moves to set up fights, which were crucial. The team fights were what got William and Mary this win. And on top of that, they had Mage of None. Mage of None's Heimerdinger. Crazy, crazy good setups here. Either taking somebody out just one-on-one or getting them so low that they had to back. The lane control of Mage of None was crazy. The bush cheese was great. And it just allowed Wokian to do what Sivir does best, and that is DPS through a fight. No pressure on Wookiee in the entire time, able to just ricochet through an entire team, boomerang blade through an entire team. Didn't matter. Wokian getting the most DPS in this game. And man, William and Mary, when they're on, they're on. So big congratulations to them. They're going to take the series 2-1, but that is going to be it for us tonight. I want to give a shout out to Shinkari, who was here for games 1 and 2, could not make 3. But most importantly, I want to thank you guys for watching, for sticking around for all 3 games. It was a close, tight series. It was William Mary getting the victory. I do not know when we will be back on next. I have not been given enough of the schedule to know. But keep your eyes and ears open for style streams because they will be happening more this week. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night.